with information to give them a call. Watching movement from the U.S. Department of Education as it begins the process of dismantling the agency. It comes just days after the Supreme Court clears the way for mass layoffs. Political correspondent Ed O'Keefe notes there are many questions yet to be answered about the department.
Does it mean completely shuttering the whole place? Does it mean then that perhaps oversight of Title IX or student loan programs would be moved to other departments? Or do you keep a much smaller agency that handles those things and just does so with a reduced footprint?
He says while state and local education officials are in charge of hiring and curriculum, it's those extra federal funds that remain up in the air for schools. New numbers from the Intercontinental Exchange show home prices in more than half of the country's top 100 housing markets, including Atlanta, are below their peak.
And the annual nationwide price increase slowed in June, which ICE says suggests a propensity for further slowing. Median prices have fallen more than $100,000 from their peak in some areas.
Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini says a separate report from Realtor.com finds home prices here in Atlanta have plunged almost 10% from just last year. And we're always urged to protect our skin from the sun's harmful rays, but the same is true for our pets. Animal health experts now say pets with light-colored fur and thin coats are more susceptible to sun damage and even skin cancer. They say the most exposed areas for dogs, cats, and horses are the tips of their ears and noses. Along with pet-safe sunscreen, we're also urged to give our animals UV-safe clothing if at all possible. They're outside a lot. It's 9:03. Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. And we start with triple team traffic. And here is Smile and Mark McKay.
Starting to clear out the delays out of the northern suburbs. Judd, hard to tell, though, if you're on 400 and stuck below Old Milton Parkway. At least the crash south of Holkenbridge Road, exit 7, is cleared out of travel lanes. Still a tough go of it on I-85 out of Duluth and Norcross, and really difficult on 400 out of Buckhead and 85 rolling south through northeast Atlanta out of Brookhaven to the downtown connector. Buford Spring connector will improve leaving Midtown. Crash before Piedmont has gone to the shoulder on the northbound side. I-20 trouble now, Ashley Frasca.
A crash in the left lane, and police are with it on I-20 westbound before Panola Road, exit 71. That has you on the brakes coming from Lithonia Industrial Boulevard, and then through East Atlanta. You find the slow traffic, I-20 west from Glenwood Avenue, trying to ramp onto the downtown connector. Triple team traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower or storm can't be ruled out, but mainly dry for this afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 92. Partly cloudy on Friday, high 93.
79 degrees right now in Riverdale, 77 in Alpharetta, 77 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome to what I'm dubbing a hungry man-sized edition of the Mark Arum Show. We got a ton of really interesting local stuff to dive into. You heard Judd play the story about the vape detectors in middle schools and high schools. I got a lot to talk about that. Coming up in 30 minutes, we're going to go in-depth. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson, for decades, has been known as the world's busiest. It might lose that title. Big local story, obviously, yesterday was the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. 24 hours ago, basically right now, I said, I'm having FOMO, missing out. Judd, that FOMO was gone by 8:05 p.m. I was in bed.
Really?
During the introductions. I stayed awake for the first inning, and then I went to bed.
What has happened to you?
I know. Well, I was like, I had zero FOMO at 7:30. I'm like, oh, no, I'm so tired right now. So apparently it was a great game. The city of Atlanta looked fantastic. Truist Park shone. Maybe the highlight, apparently, I've seen, I was out cold after the first inning. I saw Shohei and Acuna hit. I was like, all right, I'm good. But apparently there's a really cool Hank Aaron tribute. I'll play a little bit of that a little bit later in the show. But zero FOMO, didn't miss it. I'm glad everyone that went had a good time or you watched it at home. I was worried I'd be talking about today, like, I can't believe I'm fine.
Even with the ending and everything? Would it be cool to be there?
No. I would have left by the fourth inning if I had gone. You've been to games with me. I'm never there till the end. So anyway, I'm glad Atlanta looked fantastic to the rest of the world, but I was sawing logs by the second inning. So welcome to the Mark Arum Show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. More on the Epstein files. We heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday.
Pam Bondi, I don't know When she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents. As I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
Yeah, so Speaker Mike Johnson, now this is a story that will not go away. President Trump making comments on it as well. That is obviously a story worth monitoring. But before we go to the White House, we're going to check in with ABC's Karen Travers. I want to talk about that story that Judd just played from our buddy Jonathan O'Brien about vape detectors in school. Now, full disclosure, I had a long commute today. I even because I went to bed so early, I got up early. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to work early. And then I got smushed in some travel advisory heading into town. And so I was, entertained by Atlanta's Morning News. And I heard that story about the school vape detectors. And my initial reaction, Judd, was, really? That's where you're going to spend my tax dollars? Not, making schools safer, but doing vape detectors? Mm-hmm. And then Jonathan's story was, no, this was paid for by Juul, e-cigarette maker. I don't know.
Yeah, part of a settlement.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. It's not my money. It's Juul's money. Not the singer Juul, Deborah, who I love.
That
but
either. You love Juul.
I love Juul. But anyway, so my first reaction was like, I want metal detectors. I don't want vape detectors. Mm-hmm. But then it was like, oh, no, Juul, the e-cigarette maker, paid for this in some sort of... I was like, okay, cool. And I don't think a lot of people realize how big of a vaping problem there is with the youths of America.
I was not surprised to hear this because I know several educators, and they all say that vaping is a huge problem. Yeah.
So these vapes will be in middle schools and high schools in Marietta City School. The school board voted to unanimously install these vape detection devices, which is pretty cool. That they can, it's not a smoke detector. It's a vape detector, whatever chemicals are in the vapes. But it's middle school and high, and you might be like, middle school, oh my God. But they actually probably need them in elementary school. My wife's in education, and I know it's hard to fathom, but there are elementary school kids that are vaping.
That's crazy.
Listen, I grew up in an era, in my high school, if you were over 18, in school, in the building, in the middle of history class or English class, you could raise your hand and be like, Mr. Solano, can I get a smoking pass?
Really?
Like a bath? Yeah. And you'd be like, okay. And you'd get a pass to go smoke during class, like a bathroom. Like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? Sure.
How old are you?
I'm very...
Wow.
Now, to be fair, my senior year was the last year they allowed smoking in the school. And I wasn't a smoker, so I don't even know where they went. If they just went in the hall... Yeah. Or there was a special smoking room or what. I don't know, but it was commonplace that you could just, and the teachers would do it. Mm-hmm. They'd be like, yeah, okay, go ahead, Frank. Go take. So, but that was in high school. And maybe there were kids that would like fake smoke in middle school, but nothing to the severity of what we're seeing now. Literally, elementary school kids are vaping. You've got young kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not vaping, but do you know if any in their social circle?
No, they're both in elementary school. I would say no, I don't know. I would say that it probably doesn't happen there, but I don't, it could very well. The thing about the vapes is, it's one thing if you, sneak a smoke in the restroom and that kind of thing. You can smell that. These vape, the stuff goes away so fast that you can sneak it through there.
So they're not, you can't smell them is what you're saying.
I don't know. I mean, I'm going off what I've seen about. It's like you can't, like, this stuff just kind of dissipates. It's not like cigarette smoke that kind of hangs around.
It's vapor. Yeah. I remember an odor though. Shaney B used to puff on the vape.
Yeah, and
it was like a vanilla, like incense kind of.
Oh, it did smell good.
I don't know if there's been update in the technology, but it's to the point where it's almost an epidemic for young kids and the vape. I have a lot of questions on who's selling these vapes to these middle schoolers and these high schoolers.
And what's in them? Because sometimes you don't even know.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
They talk about bubble lung and you think of a 12-year-old, still growing the young lungs of a 12-year-old, and to be corrupt the young lungs with whatever's in. It's a crazy story, but I think this is going to be the first of many we're going to see.
I agree,
and I really honestly just they might have to do it in elementary school. I know that's insane to think. Picture a chubby fourth grade Mark Arum. Could you ever see me smoking or,
Apparently so, with
a
the
husky-
smoking passes and stuff. I don't know.
Well, they didn't have them in elementary
okay,
school, only
good.
in high school, but a fascinating story. Again, you and I aren't paying for it with our tax dollars. If you want to tax me more to get metal detectors and more security guards, I'm all for it. But actually is, I think, a really important thing. I'm glad that Juul, not the singer, the e-cigarette manufacturer, is footing the bill for this. But I think this is going to expand to other school districts. And B, I think there's going to become a time, because the school's not back yet. So there are elementary school teachers listening right now going, yeah, it's a thing. Elementary school kids vaping.
Scary.
Which is really scary.
Yep.
Anyway, great stuff there by Jonathan O'Brien. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But I want to go up to the White House. Joining us from ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers. Karen, good morning. Got some CPI economic numbers yesterday. Not the greatest numbers as far as inflation is concerned. What was the reaction from the White House?
Yeah, the consumer prices rose 2.7% last month, June, compared to a year ago. So it means that people are starting to see prices go up, from groceries to clothing to furniture. This was about what economists were expecting, though. It really matched what they were anticipating. But no surprise, the White House was putting a spin on it yesterday. He celebrated the data, posting a social media post highlighting very low inflation. And when he was asked questions about it at the White House, he said that the inflation data was very slight. He said they were exactly as anticipated, very low inflation. And then he turned his sights to the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, saying that the Fed should lower the rate immediately. Now, the important thing to note here is that because of this new data, and the price increases persisting at a higher rate than what the Federal Reserve is looking to see, it means the Fed is less likely to cut rates. So the president's going to keep up that pressure on him, but it doesn't seem like the Fed's going to move based on social media posts or comments from the president to reporters.
Interesting. Do we know if there were any impact on the inflation rate going up from the president's tariffs that have been enacted?
Yeah, I mean, experts are certainly saying that this is probably the first glimpse of the impact of the president's trade war, and that prices are likely to continue to rise, especially if he goes forward with the threat of tariffs on August 1st. That's when the date is going, when the other tariffs will go into effect on countries all around the world. He's sending those letters out to dozens and dozens of countries. He's threatening new tariffs from the European Union and Mexico as well. But experts also say that it's not clear what could happen because the policy of the president on tariffs has been pretty inconsistent. He's announced tariffs, he's put them on pause. He's announced tariffs, he's dropped the rate. So it's hard to predict at this point, but the sense is that this data that we saw is the first real look at what the impact might be of the tariffs so far.
Karen Travers from ABC joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Despite the inflation uptick, I'm sure the president was happy to talk about something else other than the, quote, files that have really taken over the news cycle there.
Mm-hmm.
This is, getting to talk about tariffs and getting to tell reporters that the Fed chair should lower rates. That's the sweet spot for President Trump.
Sure. He still had questions raised to him about Jeffrey Epstein and the files and what the Attorney General has or has not done. He also brushed those off, saying that, that it's up to her to decide, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, of what to release, and that she should release credible evidence and information. But, yeah, I think he would rather be talking about his trade policy than all of that.
The president was asked if he's going to appoint Powell to another term as Fed chair. What was his response to that?
Yeah, he said, you've got to be kidding. And that's not surprising. To even ask that question is kind of surprising, given how critical he has been of Powell and even floating out the idea of trying to move early to push him out of that position. He had said recently he wouldn't fire him, but there's certainly questions about whether he would try to remove him. It's an independent board, so there's technical questions about whether he could do that or not, but the president has not been shy, making it very clear that he is not happy with Powell for not reducing rates at this point.
Final question, Karen. What are we watching for at the White House today?
The president has a lot of meetings today. He's going to be meeting with leaders from Bahrain and Qatar at the White House, so we'll have a chance to ask him some questions at numerous times over the course of the day.
Karen Travers, ABC, always a pleasure. Thanks, Karen.
Have a great day. Thanks.
So we had the CPI numbers yesterday, Consumer Price Index, and like clockwork, just released was the producer price index. Full disclosure, I'm not even familiar with that. But as far as inflation goes, the producer price index said U.S. wholesale inflation was muted in June, despite expectations for an increase amid the rollout of tariffs. Economists had expected that prices would rise 0.2% on a monthly basis and 2.5% annually. So, we had, not great news with the CPI yesterday, but the just released producer price index, which basically measures the average change in prices paid to producers, went unchanged in May. Now, May, June, when did the tariffs actually hit? But this is better news as far as inflation is concerned, a day after the CPI numbers were released. As a result, stock futures just jumped up. Dow's up 140, S&P's up 11, NASDAQ's up almost 10 points. So better news for President Trump as far as inflation is concerned. All right, when we come back, we're going to update our top local stories. Still to come, will Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson retain its title as the world's busiest airport? We know Atlanta roadways are in the running for the world's busiest, including some trouble on I-20. Live with the latest, here's Mike Shields.
That's right, Mark, right in the work zone, but good news as we speak. A crash that was impacting lanes now moved to the right shoulder in the work zone. I-20 westbound before Panola Road, exit 71. Sluggish still as you leave Evans Mill Road. Course through downtown, still jammed up, 75-85 northbound. Leaving the airport, 166, getting past I-20 through the Grady Curve. Bumper to bumper southbound on the connector from Atlantic Station, 17th Street, getting past Georgia Tech and North Avenue. This report is brought to you by Georgia United Credit Union, ready for a financial partner that puts you first. Discover the difference at Georgia United Credit Union. Visit gucu.org/join. Insured by NCUA. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What separates Advanced Hair from every other joint around? First off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. It's Mark Aram here. I've been to their facilities, checked it out. Amazing stuff going on at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. And the best part about this, guys, Advanced Hair's summer saving event going on right now will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your new hair guaranteed to grow. Online at advancedhair.com.
You know kids will ruin your life, right? Especially if you're a garage door. I mean, babies are adorable, don't get me wrong. But after that adorable phase where they barf and poop on everything, they turn into a cheap garage door's worst nightmare. Whacking tennis balls against the door all day, up and down every time they ride a bike. You dreamy young'uns might have the energy to start a family, but that rusty avocado green aluminum garage door that came with your house is too old for this jazz. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern, insulated garage doors are built to stand up to family life. They resist dents, they don't ring like a gong when you whack them with a puck, and they go up and down, super quiet, as many times as your kids change their minds. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll treat you like family.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
We are here with CFP Matthew Decker of the Vincent Financial Group and host of Retire ATL. And Matt, you've said that income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. But what income streams require the most attention?
Yeah, so if you've got a pension or if you're living off of Social Security, you kind of know those income streams show up in your mailbox. That's mailbox money. It's almost like you're still working, and it doesn't really require that much attention. But most people that come into the office today, they are having to use their 401ks, their IRAs, SEP Simples, 403Bs that are invested in the market to generate income. And anytime you're going to use a market-linked asset where you have to go in and decide when you're going to buy and sell to generate your income, It takes a ton more effort, energy, and attention to get that piece of the puzzle right, but it doesn't actually have to be that way.
So, Matt, the number one fear of adults in retirement is outliving their money. How do we get started building income today?
Well, you can get started today. You'd call us for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement roadmap. We want to build a GPS for you that's going to help navigate retirement, and it's going to have a focus on building and preserving income. 770-280-1488. We've got a representative standing by to talk to you right now. 770-280-1488. Our home office is in downtown Woodstock, but we are available across the metro Atlanta area to meet with you at a time and place that fits your schedule. Again, 770-280-1488 or online at retireatlradio.com.
The team at Vincent Financial Group want to help preserve your assets while building retirement income that lasts as long as you do. Call today for your complimentary retirement roadmap, 770-280-1488. And you can always get more at retireatlradio.com and join us for Retire ATL Sundays at 6 p.m. right here on WSB.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
It's our 20th anniversary at North Georgia Replacement Windows, and we're celebrating with our biggest sale in company history.
It's Ted and Jonathan. For a limited time, save 25% on beautiful Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows and doors.
Celebrate with us and upgrade your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal. Window and door shopping made simple.
Hurry, 25% savings ends July 31st.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah.
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
That was President Trump yesterday evening at Joint Base Andrews saying, why does everyone care about Jeffrey Epstein? Well, apparently they do care. We've heard from Speaker Mike Johnson. We'll go back to Capitol Hill and get the latest on the possibility of the Epstein files released. A quick update from yesterday's show, Deborah, a poll update. I did a social media poll on my Instagram stories. Vinny, beloved Vinny, screening the calls, salt of the earth kind of guy, ordered yesterday. It was Bagel Tuesday yesterday, Judd. I'm sorry you missed it. And I gave Vinny my phone on Uber Eats, and he ordered turkey sausage, egg and cheese on a cinnamon raisin bagel, which I gagged and I said, is this a fireable offense? And I posted that on my Instagram story. You can still vote. There's still time. 63% of respondents said it is a fireable offense.
Wow.
30. Deborah, I mean, the people have spoken. I'm not saying you're going to be canned for sure, but listen to some of the notables that voted to fire Vinny for this. Chris Egan's sister, Jonathan O'Brien.
What?
Oh,
yeah.
Jonathan.
My best friend from college. Jessica Higginbotham voted to fire Vinny over that.
Did she really? I'm so
wife.
sorry, Vinny.
Chris Crawford says you should be fired.
All right, Chris.
Austin Eller says you should be fired.
Austin.
Wow.
Judd, you remember?
Hate in the newsroom.
Austin.
You remember?
Newsroom is.
Judd, you remember Jessie, the waitress from Egg Harbor?
Yes.
She voted to fire Vinny.
No.
CBS.
She's nice to everyone.
CBS national producer Elizabeth Turner said fire Vinny.
CBS?
Abby Jensen from B98 says fire Vinny.
Abby.
My wife, Maya, said fire Vinny. Sandra Golden voted to fire Vinny. Pineapple Johnson. Nia Simone from Kiss 104.1. My cousin Greg. And these Stephen Lawson, our political analyst, who's going to, and this one's going to hurt you the most, Vin. Alex Williams voted to fire you.
Oh, no.
Alex, my guy.
So those are the notables that said fire Vin. The only notables that said don't fire Vin, Judd's brother-in-law and Vinny himself. Those are the only names I recognize that said. DJ Bonita. She's good too. She's verified. Anyway, the people have spoken. You're not getting fired, Vin, but I am going to prevent you from ordering a bacon, egg, and cheese or turkey, egg, and cheese on a cinnamon raisin bagel. That's just it's not just fireable, it's sacrilegious. It's a sacrilegious.
I support you, Vinny. I don't know, man.
Oh, really?
Thank you, Judd.
Well,
Hey, I
that's
got
good.
another vote.
Your wife says to fire Vinny, and she's the smartest of the Higginbothams. All right, so all right, you still have a job now, Vin, but learn your lesson, my friend. All right, Judd is going to give you news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, the economic engine of Metro Atlanta is Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson for decades and has been the world's busiest airport. Putting that prize on the mantle, it's being threatened now by a couple of airports. Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution going to give us the lowdown when we come back. You can still have time to save Vinny's job on my Instagram story. Go ahead and vote on the poll. It's at Mark Arum, MarkArum.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Heavy rain, high winds, huge hail. Yes, Atlanta, we're in storm season. It's Mark Arum here. You might be faced with a roof repair or a replacement. Do not gamble with any contractor, and there are hundreds of roofers with little to no experience. I want you to trust the experts at Dr. Roof. Trusted name in roofing for over 35 years and backed by their industry-leading warranties. Dr. Roof doesn't cut corners. They're the best at protecting your biggest investment. Dr. Roof, done right, guaranteed.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham. News this half hour brought to you by Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Our top story, yet another chapter in the ongoing development of artificial intelligence. A new AI-powered supercomputer planned for Georgia Tech. It's being called a game changer for national scientific research.
Georgia Tech calls the $20 million system Nexus. They'll start building it this year, and once it's complete next spring, scientists from institutions across the country will be able to apply to use the ultra-fast system. It'll be capable of performing more than 400 quadrillion operations per second. The university says it'll support work in many fields, including climate science, health, aerospace, and robotics. They plan to reserve up to 10% of the system's capacity for research at Georgia Tech. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It is 79 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says we'll see partly cloudy skies again today. High getting back into the mid-90s. Pop-up shower possible this afternoon. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Now, we're also watching a weather system this morning that's moving west in the Gulf of Mexico along the Florida Panhandle. It could become Tropical Storm Dexter as early as today. It's already been dumping rain on parts of Florida. Even if it does not become Dexter, though, the system could still cause some dangerous flooding along the Gulf Coast into Louisiana. Well, it seems vape detection devices are coming to Marietta middle and high schools after the city school board votes unanimously to install them in school restrooms. Mike Santoro is the district's chief operations officer.
Our hope is that not only is it effective in identifying vaping when it's taking place, but also serving as a deterrent.
Students would face disciplinary action if caught. The cost is being covered by a grant from the state education Education Department. There's a shakeup for the second wealthiest person on earth. Larry Ellison has bumped Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg out of the way.
The Oracle co-founder is raking it in thanks to the AI boom and clients, including OpenAI. His shares gained almost 6% yesterday. On news, the U.S. government would allow chip makers, including NVIDIA, to export some semiconductors to China, reversing Biden-era rules. That boosted Ellison's net worth to more than $251 billion and pushed Ellison ahead of Zuckerberg on Bloomberg's Billionaires Index. Still has a long way to go, though, to get to be number one. Billionaire Elon Musk's net worth is almost $358 billion. I'm Bloomberg's Denise Pellegrini for 95.5 WSB.
And if you know, you know. Uno is about to make its presence felt here in Atlanta.
The card game from Mattel is taking its brand new Uno Social Club tour on the road to select cities around the country, and one of those places they'll be stopping is right here in Atlanta. The announcement comes as company officials squelched a rumor circulating that the popular card game would be making its debut on a casino floor in Las Vegas. The post on social media says while it's not a reverse card, the Vegas tables weren't ready for them yet, so while things get sorted out, next month there are going to be tournaments going on, not just here in Atlanta, but also in New York, LA, and Chicago. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:33 as we check your money. All major indices open up here for your Wednesday. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start in the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
Hey, Judd, still watching the volume continue through downtown and midtown on the connector, north and southbound, really filled up anywhere between 17th Street and 166. But if you're trying to get to the connector in East Atlanta, dealing with brake lights, I-20 westbound just before Moreland Avenue, exit 60, where a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder with Atlanta Police and a hero. At times, they have blocked all lanes trying to get that over to the right shoulder, so careful there. And roadwork set up impacting you now out of Lawrenceville, Highway 316 westbound right at Riverside Parkway. That's in a right lane. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower possible, but many of us will enjoy a dry afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 92. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, high 93.
It is 78 degrees in Douglasville, 77 in Auburn, 77 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard, 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The only thing that's really sacred about August 1st is that's when payments start.
President Trump last night talking about the upcoming tariffs still to come. We'll go live to D.C., the latest on the tariff news and the Epstein files. But next is Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson about to lose the world's busiest moniker. Emma Hurt from the AJC live in 2 minutes on the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care. And I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
Hi, this is Megan, your friend and jeweler from Shane Company. Did you know not all warranties are created equal? At Shane Company, our free lifetime warranty is all-inclusive and even protects the diamond in your engagement ring. We can offer such an incredible warranty because our rings are crafted to last a lifetime. As your friend and jeweler, our gift to you is peace of mind. At Shane Company, we also cover unlimited repairs, resizings, and cleanings for free for life, saving you thousands over time. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home, and boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 five-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
9:36 on this really busy Newsday Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. 1 hour from now, political analyst Stephen Lawson joins us live. 2 hours from right now, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Paul McCartney at State Farm Arena come November. Monitoring a couple of big stories out of D.C. We'll go back live to the White House in just a little bit. But I want to go in depth on a local story. Mentioned it, I think, last week, Deborah. I saw a blurb that Chicago's O'Hare Airport was nipping at the heels of Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson is becoming the world's busiest airport. Great in-depth piece today on AJC.com by transportation reporter Emma Hurt, who joins us live on the Mark Arum Show. Emma, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Happy to be here.
I've been at WSB Radio for almost 28 years, and I've always taken pride in calling Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson the world's busiest for a majority of the time I was here. But there's not one but two airports that are nipping at Hartsfield-Jackson's heels.
You're not alone in that, I'll tell you. Atlanta has been has leaned into its pride in its airport for almost the entire time, the entire century it's been in existence. But you're right, and I think what we're getting at, though, is there's a couple different superlatives in aviation world. There's most passengers, which is what Atlanta has, and then there's most flights. And Chicago, which used to be the most passengers king, and Atlanta dethroned them back in '98. Chicago's coming back for that superlative. But when we come to total passengers, the competition for Atlanta really lies in the Middle East. We're looking at Dubai, Istanbul, Riyadh, which are building these massive mega airports that people wonder if Atlanta can keep up with down the line.
Wow. All right. So I saw that O'Hare was starting to see a surge, but I didn't even factor in an airport like Dubai. Why? Do we have any idea why Dubai is now surging ahead?
Well, I should say they're not surging ahead. We remain, in terms of total passenger count last year, about 20 million ahead of Dubai. So that's a lot. But the question becomes, when we look at the future of Atlanta, how much can it grow on its physical space? It's landlocked at the moment, and places like Dubai and Istanbul and Riyadh have the ability to take over large swaths of land and just physically grow, build enough gates, build enough space to host more people. There is a finite amount of space at the Atlanta airport, and something that the new general manager is going to reevaluate is what the master plan of the airport should be going forward and what it might need to do to grow and keep up with these kind of eye-popping numbers that the Middle East says it expects to be able to host.
So it's the fact that those international airports have room for expansion. They could add a runway or add a terminal, and we really are kind of limited here.
Right, which is a common problem at American airports. There's only a handful that really have enough land space to grow that don't have the landlocked problem. Denver and Dulles are two, for example, that have a lot of land. But I mean, with the growth of global flight and with the growth of the airlines operating out of these airports in the Middle East, that's also certainly a factor.
Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution joining us live here on the Mark Arum Show. Great piece online right now at AJC.com. And there was a graphic in that piece that showed Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport annual passengers since 1930, which it's a crazy thing. And there's a mass, I mean, it's all up until, I'm guessing that's the pandemic where we see that massive dip in passengers.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one time since '98 we have lost the world's busiest title. It was to a airport in China.
Okay, but surging back up now to over 108 million passengers. The history, you mentioned it's 100 years of Atlanta's Hartsfield. When did we really pop on the scene as far as becoming a really big hub? At what point did Atlanta's airport become a massive player in the game?
You know, it's interesting in my research. What I realized is that from the very beginning, Atlanta had its eyes on that. I mean, there's a 1933 article that's already saying, you know, it's one of the South's busiest airports. And then it rose from there. And then we get really into kind of this existential Atlanta identity topic, which is that Atlanta's government and officials and business leaders throughout its history recognized that after the railroads, remember our name was Terminus back in the day?
Yes.
When that industry faded, it needed something else to be important, to draw industry. We didn't have Wall Street, you know, we didn't have a port. We had to create something, and Atlanta's officials did that over time. They invested in an airport design that was able to handle growth, and that coincides, of course, with the airlines that are required to produce the flights that give us the title, right? So Atlanta, I would say, got a bit lucky with airlines like Eastern, like Delta, that invested in it as a hub and drove that traffic up. So it's two sides of the coin where you have the city and the airlines working together and prioritizing the airport. As Mayor Franklin, former Mayor Shirley Franklin told me, she was like, when something comes up with the airport, you don't put it to the top of the priority list. It's already there.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned Eastern. I'm sure there's some young listeners going, Eastern Airlines? What? I never. But was that was there a dip when Eastern went belly up? Did that cause havoc at Atlanta's Hartsfield?
Absolutely. In 1991, prior to 1991, Eastern and Delta both had built kind of thriving hubs here, and they shared about 80% of the traffic, and that's how Atlanta was nipping on Chicago's heels back in the 70s and 80s. But when Eastern liquidated in 91, we literally shut down a concourse and a half,
Wow.
51 gates. And so we fell out of the game for the 90s, but you have simultaneously a few things happening where the Olympics is coming, right? And so the city and the airport needs to build up its infrastructure to handle a lot of visitors coming in, which it wasn't accustomed to. The Olympics brings attention to Atlanta, which means corporations are like, maybe I can build a headquarters there, again, driving up traffic. And then simultaneously, Delta grows into Eastern's space. So fast forward to 1998, and we get the title.
Yeah, Delta, by the way, celebrating their 100th anniversary. Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. One of the big stories that I remember covering was in the early 2000s when they added another runway, and they did it over I-285. Could there possibly be another runway expansion, like the out-of-the-box thinking of that fifth runway that was added?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't forget that back in the late 70s, Atlanta moved a different interstate to make way for the airport as well. So we have not shied away from massive projects like that. And I think that, you know, I asked the new general manager this, do you have an opinion on the sixth runway? He's been on the job for 3 months. He said, not yet. It is currently in the master plan of the airport that once we reach a certain point of traffic, they hope to find a way to build an airport on its current ground. But, you know, when you ask people about the future of the airport, all kinds of ideas come up, including like, well, we might have to move another highway in order to build another runway. But the question also becomes, you know, how does technology and air traffic control technology in particular evolve? Do we need another runway in order to handle more airplanes? Perhaps the question becomes gate space. So there's a lot changing in this industry, but at the same time, planning is such long term, as you know, that they have to be thinking about that now. And Atlanta will have to face the question of how important is it to keep holding this title when you're facing competition from these cities where their landscape is completely different for what they can build.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pride thing, right? We don't get $1 billion bonus from the FAA for being the world's busiest. But I mean, it's such an important part of the economic engine that is Metro Atlanta. And I think, I don't know if this holds true, but at one point on a busy travel weekend like we just had for July 4th, if you take the number of people at the airport, it's automatically becomes the second most populous city in Georgia, just by the sheer number of passengers there. It's that big.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is a city unto itself. I mean, you know, 65,000 employees in some way tied to the airport. It has its own police force. It has its own 5 fire stations. Like, it truly is a massive enterprise. And while it is governed by the city, it is fully financially independent of the city. So it really is a self-sustaining entity. And to your point, I don't know, I haven't met anyone who would disagree with the fact that it is the biggest economic driver in Georgia and Metro Atlanta history.
And great for people watching and eating. Two of my favorite things.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of that too.
Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I urge everyone to check it out. A great piece on AJC.com. Folks want to find you on social media, see more of your work, Emma. Where can we find you?
Please subscribe to the AJC.
Yes.
I am here all the time. My Twitter is less in use, but it is at Emma_Hurt.
Excellent. Emma, thanks so much for your time. Really great stuff.
Thank you, Mark.
There you go. All right, so Deborah, we got to Dubai. There's nothing we can do about Dubai, but Chicago. What's going on there? Why are you flying out of Chicago? Come to Atlanta. Again, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I just like saying that Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson International is the world's busiest airport. Really good local stuff there. All right, we're going to come back, catch up with some national headlines after we check the Wednesday morning drive. My commute this morning was a beast, Mike Shields. How are the roads right now?
Yeah, still is in spots, Mark, especially on the west side perimeter. Going to be a little relief for you, though, if you're traveling 285 northbound, the Interloop getting past South Cobb Drive, exit 15. Trouble just moved to the right shoulder there. Also dealing with a stalled vehicle at times to block lanes on I-20 westbound at Moreland Avenue, exit 60. Right now, all the activity back on the left shoulder. This report is brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series lighting up the track. Nitro Nation. Grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not.
This is Tasia from Grayson, Georgia. I just won $1,000 from WSB.
WSB's $1,000 Thursdays tomorrow.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app.
I just put the keyword in, and oh my God.
Win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
Thank you.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB.
Where Atlanta wins.
It's our 20th anniversary at North Georgia Replacement Windows, and we're celebrating with our biggest sale in company history.
It's Ted and Jonathan. For a limited time, save 25% on beautiful Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows and doors.
Celebrate with us and upgrade your home's energy efficiency, comfort, and curb appeal. Window and door shopping made simple.
Hurry, 25% savings ends July 31st.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah.
Change, it's always happening, folks. It's a part of life. When it comes to music, change is all around us. Think about the songs you listened to as a kid and what you listen to now and what your kids or grandkids listen to. But no matter how many things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. It's the price of your internet. It's Mark Arum back from my pals at Xfinity, and Xfinity now introducing a 5-year price guarantee. 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, don't be. Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed broadband experience report August 2024. Xfinity.com/deals.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.
All right, so picture this. I'm pulling up to the house after a long day, and I almost thought I was at the wrong place. The siding was sparkling, the driveway was spotless, the deck looked brand new, and the roof looked like it had been replaced. Well, what had actually happened was I had booked Wise Guys Pro Wash to come by while I was away, and boy, they had crushed it. One call, a quick quote, next day service, and they didn't even need anybody home. and not blasting your house either with high pressure or a box store pressure washer. Wise Guys only uses the best equipment in the industry. They soft wash everything, so it's safe on paint, trim, siding, everything. My home from top to bottom looks brand new. We actually had company that weekend, asked if we had renovated. Nope, just one visit from my friends at Wise Guys Pro Wash. If you want your house to shine for the summer, do what I did. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. Book now at wiseguysprowash.com before they fill up.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
9:52 on the Mark Arum Show. A reminder, 11:37. Make sure you're tuned in. Deborah's got more tickets to see Sir Paul McCartney at State Farm Arena. Top of the hour, we're going to go back to D.C., update the latest with the Epstein files and more tariff news. Right now, though, let's go live to Kerrville, Texas. Joining us from News Nation, it's Xavier Walton. Xavier, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Hey, Mark, good morning. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
12 days away from the absolutely catastrophic, tragic flooding in Texas along the Guadalupe River. First question I have to ask, do we have an updated death toll and a number of folks still missing?
Well, unfortunately, Mark, that death toll continues to go up, now hovering around 130. Here's the thing, with the way the search and recovery is going, I was out with a team of cadaver dogs yesterday, and, they got a hit, which means they likely found someone. And so what happens is they'll call it in, then they will, this is, a bit morbid, but they will collect, whoever that person was, and then they will send them to the appropriate place, and then they will verify, and then they notify the next of kin. But that's the process that we've kind of been watching play out for days now. And so that number, that death toll, it does continue to go up as of this morning. Still a little more than 100 people missing, at least from Governor Greg Abbott here in Texas. And again, that number, it's constantly changing as well, Mark.
Has the weather been cooperating in the recovery effort?
Okay, so the last 2 days, not so much. Flood threat remains. The Guadalupe River is a little bit above normal still, even days later. But when it rains, they got to halt their recovery efforts. So that's on pause. Thankfully, today we're getting a little bit of reprieve. Checked with the forecast today, and then the rest of the week, no rain. And that's something, search and rescue crews from across the country are really they're really thankful for, because the last few days it's been off and on rain and they've had to stop their work.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the relief efforts are coming from all over globally, right? We've had crews from Mexico. What's it like ground level, and how much support that the folks in Texas are getting?
It's hard to understate just how much support. It really is remarkable. And I got here, July 5th, so after the 4th of July, a couple Saturdays ago, and from several different states. I was out with a team from Ohio yesterday. They said they drove 30 hours just to get here. I've been talking to a team from Mexico, who obviously has been helping out with the search and recovery. The problem is, Mark, the search grid, the devastation is so widespread, and just all the debris, even with all the resources, it's still, honestly, on the ground, it still doesn't feel like enough. And that's the hard part, is we're still 12 days out now from when it actually happened. And there's still areas that haven't been checked. And then there's still areas that are being double checked. It is a massive undertaking.
I know the folks reporting from Kerrville have been asking the authorities questions about what happened or didn't happen prior to this horrific flood. Are we starting to get any answers yet, or authorities still kicking the can down the road?
I think they're kicking the can down the road at this point. And, early on, it did seem a bit, and I was in these press conferences, it did seem a bit insensitive to be asking, who's to blame here when there were literal, people still being searched for, and there still are, even at this hour. But now, as we kick the can down the road, you keep asking the same questions to the governor. He's not answering. He did say, though, during the special session, this is something that's going to be addressed. A lot of people I've spoken to, and these are residents, people who lost pretty much everything, who are saying, I don't know if a siren or some sort of warning along the Guadalupe River would have, done much of a difference for me, for my situation, but it might have given others a fighting chance to at least make a run for it or get to higher ground. If an alarm's blaring at, 1, 2, 3 a.m., because that's when this happened, you're going to wake up. In some of these areas, I was in Hunt, Texas for a few days, and there's like no cell service. So if you're sending an alert to your phone in an area that doesn't get cell service, you're not going to get that alert. And then you factor in when it was. So I think during the special session here in Texas in a week or so, that'll be a big topic of conversation.
Xavier Walton, News Nation, Kerrville, Texas. Xavier, great stuff as always. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, so the death roll continues to go up. The Mother Nature is cooperating today, though, so they're going to be out there in the recovery efforts and try to find those over 100 still reported missing. Just horrible. Don't forget, if you want to donate, WSBradio.com. Right at the top of our website, you'll see a link to all the verified organizations that are truly doing all they can to help out those folks in the river basin in Texas. News, weather, and traffic in 2 minutes. When we come back, updating our top local stories. Going to head back to the White House, the latest on the Epstein files. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum, at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Scott Slade here from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. Are you considering a new roof but not sure when you're going to be able to get it into the budget? FGA Roofing is offering a 000 offer this month. 0 down payment, 0 interest for 12 months, and 0 monthly payments. Search FGA Roofing for a free quote today.
Here at Massey, we've seen the damage termites can cause. That's why we've been protecting homes from termite damage for almost 100 years. Our termite protection program, featuring Always Active Centricon system, doesn't just protect your home from termites, it gives you peace of mind. That's why our termite protection guarantee covers your home and everything in it. Schedule your free inspection today at MasseyServices.com. Massey Services. Expect more and get it.
If you're ready for real European car lovers to work on your Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, discover Wolfpan European Auto Repair in Roswell. And for a limited time, get a free second opinion on repairs when you mention you heard about Wolfpan on the radio. Search Wolfpan Auto Repair to get started.
2 keys to surviving a brutal Atlanta summer. Number 1, stay hydrated. Drink your water, folks. Number 2, make sure your air conditioning unit can handle your needs. It's Mark Arum back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. You need AC this summer. You need an AC that works and is reliable, and you need to save money. Check out this offer. Get any sized AC, just $69.99 a month. That's it. 0 down. Low monthly payments, all future repairs, maintenance, even filters are no additional charge for life. An unbeatable lifetime warranty. Plus, you get 24/7 service and next day installations guaranteed, or Reliable pays you $500. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button, or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. News this hour brought to you by TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. WSB's top local story, a $20 million AI-powered supercomputer meant to level the playing field in the world of scientific research, is coming to Georgia's backyard.
The system, funded by the National Science Foundation, will give research institutions across the country access to AI infrastructure, something that's mostly been limited to those at top tech hubs up to this point. Georgia Tech says it could lead to breakthroughs in the development of new medicine, our understanding of the human brain, and drive manufacturing innovations. They plan to start building it this year with a completion goal of next spring. 10% of the system's capacity will be reserved for Georgia Tech research. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It's 82 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is expecting another partly cloudy, hot, and humid day today. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. This week marks back-to-back releases of two key inflation gauges, and they're up. Today's Producer Price Index follows yesterday's Consumer Price Index, which showed an inflation increase. Economist Rick Newman with Yahoo Finance says U.S. businesses are struggling to pay new tariffs and starting to pass those costs on to consumers.
This is exactly the sort of effect economists have been watching for from the tariffs.
Meanwhile, President Trump is doubling down on tariffs as consumers face higher prices. He says he'll likely impose pharmaceutical duties at the end of this month and eventually could hike them to 200%. Ahead of the first day of school, the Marietta City School Board votes unanimously to install vape detection devices inside all middle and high school restrooms.
The devices look like home smoke detectors, but instead of smoke, they detect chemicals found in vapes. Mike Santoro, the district's chief operations officer, says when these chemicals are detected,
it sends a silent alert to school administration, who are then able to tell by area and by the specific alarm where vaping took place on campus.
Officials hope the new devices encourage students to think twice before vaping. The cost is being covered by a Georgia Department of Education grant. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
After an intensive study program on the Holocaust in Europe, a teacher from Sandy Springs is back home sharing her stories and emotional knowledge.
What happened in World War II is being reflected in the news today.
We're experiencing anti-Semitism like we've never experienced for a very long time.
Judy Shankup has a wealth of knowledge about the Holocaust, but the story of Denmark's actions surprised even her.
The Danish people managed to rescue their Jewish population, which was over 7,000 people.
Shankup says the stories of the Holocaust have to be told, especially as some people believe it didn't even happen. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Investigators in Canada are trying to piece together how someone was able to allegedly hijack a small plane and fly it around the airspace of the Vancouver airport. Authorities say the suspected hijacker stole a Cessna in protest, but it's unclear what the protest was even about. You may see a bigger chunk of your paycheck going towards healthcare costs next year. That's according to Mercer's survey on health and benefit strategies. It finds more than half of employers say they are planning to pass higher health costs onto their workers. That means health insurance options could include higher deductibles or out-of-pocket maximums. It's 10:03. Live team coverage of traffic and weather comes right after the Mark Arum Show continues for you. So, you know what? Let's see what's going on the roads. It's time for live team coverage of traffic and weather with Chin Wei navigating your way out there.
Good morning. I'm going to try. All right, you're locked and loaded, though. I-75, 85 northbound. You're still sluggish from this morning. Those delays not breaking free, leaving Langford Parkway until you reach about Peachtree Pine, exit 249. And if you're coming in from the northern burbs, I-85 southbound inside the perimeter, you're slow beginning around North Druid Hills. 400 southbound is slow right at Lennox Road, and I-75 southbound, you're going on off the brakes from Moore's Mill, and they're all going to merge together for a nice slow ride down to I-20. I'm Chinwe Maponya Cook, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower or storm can't be ruled out, but mainly dry for this afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 92. Partly cloudy on Friday, high 93.
Right now, it's 80 degrees in Dunwoody. It's 79 in Doraville, and it's 82 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 10:04. More news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Whole gang with us here today. Deborah, the executive producer of the program. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny still has a job, although the Instagram universe wants him to get fired for his bagel choice yesterday, but he's still here. Just picking up some breaking news. Israel strikes the Syrian capital of Damascus. This just popping. Let's go to CNN's Jeremy Diamond. in Jerusalem. Again, this is just coming across the wires. What can you tell us, Jeremy?
Israel says that there are a couple of reasons why they are carrying out these strikes, not only near this city of Sueda, which is a Druze stronghold in southern Syria, but also several airstrikes hitting the Syrian capital of Damascus, including the military headquarters there. We heard from the Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar today, who said that, first of all, Israel is acting out of national security interests to prevent certain militant forces from being on its border in Syria, very close to Israel. But then secondly, he also cited the strong bonds that Israel has with the Druze community in Syria. And what's important to understand about this Druze religion, which is an Arab sect throughout the Middle East, throughout this region, is that there are Syrian Druze, there are Israeli Druze, there are also Lebanese Druze. They're all part of the same religion, but they have different interests, but they are connected. And in particular, the Israeli Druze and here in Israel have felt a strong connection as they have watched attacks that have been carried out against the Druze community in Syria, calling for government action, at times arguing that they should go into Syria themselves to be able to defend their Druze brethren in Syria. And over the weekend, we saw clashes breaking out between this Druze minority in Sueda and Bedouin tribes in the area. Syrian government forces then began approaching and entering the city in a bid that the Syrian government said was to stop these clashes from happening. And Israel has now begun to carry out these airstrikes. The Israeli government has maintained that the Syrian government is not improving, but rather worsening the situation for the Druze in parts of Syria like Sueda. And so we saw Israeli strikes against tanks, against trucks carrying machine guns and other weaponry that was headed for Sueda. Now, in addition to those strikes, what we've also seen today is really startling scenes along this frontier between the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights and the Syrian side of that border fence. And that is hundreds of Druze, either Israeli Druze or Syrian Druze who live in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, flowing into this buffer zone in Syria that is now controlled by the Israeli military, but crossing what is very much a military-controlled fence line, going into Syria, trying to be able to go and help their Syrian brethren in that southern part of Syria. The Israeli military has been trying to repel those advances, deploying tear gas, and the Israeli Prime Minister himself has urged these Israeli Druze not to go into Syria, saying, let the Israeli military handle this situation.
Jeremy Diamond live in Jerusalem. Did not see this coming. Israel strikes the Syrian capital of Damascus. We saw a video of it looked like, Deborah, a Syrian news anchor, delivering Good Morning Syria kind of show. And then she jumped out of her chair in the back. You can see the city view of Damascus, and you see these explosions. She jumps out of her chair. All right, so this is just happening. The Druze religion, by the way, if you're not familiar, it's Druze, and it's a monotheistic religion. Not huge, but as Jeremy Diamond mentioned, there are Israeli Druze, there are Lebanese Druze, and obviously Syrian Druze, and now they are all fleeing from Syria to the Israel border, I was assuming seeking refugee status. A story that is just popped, but obviously, anything that pops in the Middle East can spread, so we'll monitor that. But I didn't see that as the ceasefire, I should mention, has been holding between the United States and Iran. So some good news there, but that just broke. Jeremy Diamond there from CNN Live in Jerusalem as Israel strikes Damascus, the capital of Syria. Obviously, Syria has been a focal point of a lot of stuff going on with that. Speaking of Iran, we heard from President Trump yesterday talking about the possibility of renewed negotiations with Iran after the U.S. bombed the nuclear facilities there.
They would like to talk. I'm in no rush to talk because we obliterated their site. They'd have to start all over. In fact, it's obliterated to the point that it's not usable anymore. They'd have to pick a different mountain.
They'd have to pick a different mountain, says President Trump. So again, a lot of moving parts there as negotiations hope to be, started up again between the United States and Iran. But the ceasefire holding between Iran and Israel. No word yet. We had hoped, Deborah, last week before I went to Vegas that there'd be an announcement while I was in Vegas from the Israeli Prime Minister when he was still in D.C., that there'd be some sort of ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. Unfortunately, that did not come to fruition. All right, while we're talking international stuff, let's update Russia-Ukraine here on the Mark Arum Show. President Trump announced on Monday that his administration is going to impose 100% tariffs on countries that do business with Russia if there's no peace deal to end the war in Ukraine within 50 days. CBS's Erica Brown has more.
The president's ultimatum is being met with some skepticism from his own party, with some Republican senators concerned about how both Russian President Vladimir Putin and China will respond.
The 50-day delay worries me, and that Putin would try to use the 50 days to win the war.
If you have a 30% tariff and then you add to it a 100% tariff, what do you think that means? No trade with China.
Russia rejected President Trump's ultimatum, calling it unacceptable, pushing for continued negotiations instead. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Yeah, not just Republicans that are opposed to basically giving Putin 50 days to get his ducks in order before this goes into effect. This is Democratic Senator from New Hampshire, Jeanne Shaheen.
We're going to give Russia 50 days, and I don't support that because I think every day that Russia is able to continue this war means dead Ukrainians. It means more havoc in the country, and it means that the rest of the world is looking to see what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, the senator there mentioning havoc. Havoc continued overnight. Russia launched another massive barrage on Ukraine. CBS's Cami McCormick reports.
Russia's latest aerial assault involved 400 drones. Firefighters rushed to burning buildings. It comes ahead of President Trump's September 2nd deadline for Russian President Putin to stop the attacks or face severe sanctions. He's also promised weapons to Ukraine, but Europe would pay for them. The EU policy chief wants Washington to do even more, saying if we pay for these weapons, it's our support.
That's Cami McCormick reporting. Obviously, a plethora of big international stories. We've got Russia, Ukraine. We've now Israel attacking Damascus. And big tariff news continues. We're going to go back to the White House a little bit later on the show. I do want to update a local story, though. This, again, I don't know where I fall on AI. Today I'm like, oh, it's the best thing ever. And tomorrow I'm like, it's the end of civilization. It's going to be like Terminator. We're all going to die in a post-apocalyptic world. But huge news just down the street at Georgia Tech, Deborah, an AI supercomputer that's going to be at Tech's disposal.
Yeah, well, I love AI just for the images that I get to put together. But Georgia Tech is going to soon be the home of the nation's most advanced AI supercomputers. They're calling it Nexus, and they're going to be using it for all of the scientific research that happens there. Now, this is coming in at about $20 million, but it is provided by the National Science Foundation. So they want to use this for, all the research they do, like climate science, health research, aerospace, robotics, and they're going to say that it's going to be fast enough to do 50 million calculations every single second.
Who has got a problem on their desk like, oh my God, I've got 50 million calculations I got to do before lunch. I need an AI. I mean, those numbers are staggering, but I don't understand the relevance. Again, for folks that have real jobs, it may be a thing. But how many 50 million calculations a second, a minute?
Yep.
What a second?
Mm-hmm.
Who's got that? Who's got that much work to do? Someone listening is like, oh, that's going to take a load off. I have so many calculations to do before the end of business. Thanks. That's huge, though. I'm just worried. I mean, because as great as AI can be, it seems like for every one good story, AI, there's two bad stories. And at what point does the machine take over and then we become supplements to whatever AI overlords we have? Am I being too sky is falling on that?
No, I watched Terminator. I'm all about that.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen.
We know, and you know what part of it is, Deborah? I've been watching Mr. Robot on Netflix.
Isn't it fantastic?
It is so good, but and what's amazing, this show is like from 2015.
Yep.
And I'm like, but this is,
now.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. I'm probably looking at it because I've been binge watching Mr. Robot on on Netflix. That actor, dude, that actor's really good. Rami Malek. Rami Malek. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Do love that show. All right, Deborah, keep us posted on that. One other thing we're going to be watching today, we talked about it a bit yesterday, the confirmation hearings for President Trump's former national security advisor, Mike Walls. He was grilled on Capitol Hill over his role in the Signal group chat, where officials inadvertently disclosed sensitive military details about a strike in Yemen to a reporter. Walsh was facing a confirmation hearing for his nomination to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Nicole Killian has more from Capitol Hill.
Democrats certainly were dissatisfied by his answers. They didn't think that he nor the White House took enough accountability for what happened, particularly since no one was really disciplined for that. Yes, Mike Walls left his post as national security advisor, but only to be nominated to this position.
Again, I don't think it's a layup. I don't think it's a layup there at all. Just popping, Senate narrowly clears key hurdles on major DOGE cuts. Those will be moving forward. Supreme Court gave the go-ahead to DOGE to do what they need to do. So another story where a lot of stuff coming up at Capitol Hill. 10:35, political analyst Stephen Lawson is going to join us. Going to pick his brain about some big political stories here in Georgia and the story that will not go away, the Epstein files. Again, that's coming up at 10:35 on the Mark Arum Show. Right now, though, we got to get you to work on time. If you slept in over, I don't know. You got to get somewhere. We're going to get you there live to the traffic center. Chinwe Maponia Cook.
Let's get you there. First of all, on the West Expressway, everything is looking okay. I-20 east and westbound. You got no hangups making your way out of Douglasville into Austell and Mapleton. You will run into a little bit of issues if you're trying to merge on I-20 on I-285 north or south. But if you're staying on I-20 heading into West Atlanta, everything's looking good. And over on the East Expressway, getting reports of some construction. I-20 eastbound right at Wesley Chapel Road, taking out a right lane. So you are slowing and going near exit 68. This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Head to your local Whole Foods Market to celebrate their Summer Fruit Fest with up to 40% off in season fruit and more. Start saving now through July 29th. I'm Chinwe Maponia Cook, 95.5 WSB.
Is your summer vacation going to be a week at the beach?
Oh, yeah! That week at the beach could be yours if you win $1,000 on $1,000 Thursdays.
That's awesome.
It's $1,000 Thursdays on WSB.
Your chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Thursdays.
Listen for the keyword at WSBRadio.com or on the WSB app.
You made my life very happy.
Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
Awesome.
$1,000 Thursdays tomorrow
From 95.5 WSB.
where Atlanta wins.
Just a word of wisdom from your friend Mark Arum. A damaged roof doesn't always lead to an entire roof replacement project. As a full-service Atlanta roofing company, my friends at Dr. Roof offer comprehensive roof repairs that will lengthen the lifespan of your existing roof and ensure that it will continue to protect your home as it should. It's storm season. Get peace of mind from my friends at Dr. Roof. They've been in business for over 35 years, and Dr. Roof offers up to a 5-year warranty on roof repairs. Get all the info online at drroof.com.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now there's new hope for men who suffer from ED and PE problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
This upcoming health tip is brought to you by Kroger Pharmacy. Mold, pet dander, and dust mites are the most common culprits of allergies. In most situations, the key is avoidance. So if a dust mite allergy is the problem, wash your bed sheets weekly in hot water and invest in an allergen-reducing mattress cover. Your neighborhood Kroger Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts, Medicare D, and TRICARE Department of Defense Plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at Kroger.com/pay or update. See your Kroger Pharmacy for details.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain trying to infiltrate your home. Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. If your old roof is leaking, think of Findlay first. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof replacement experience. Water inside? Worried about recent heavy rains causing damage? You'll always win with Findlay. Schedule a free roof analysis. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com.
You know kids will ruin your life, right? Especially if you're a garage door. I mean, babies are adorable, don't get me wrong. But after that adorable phase where they barf and poop on everything, they turn into a cheap garage door's worst nightmare. Whacking tennis balls against the door all day, up and down every time they ride a bike. You dreamy young'uns might have the energy to start a family, but that rusty avocado green aluminum garage door that came with your house is too old for this jazz. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern, insulated garage doors are built to stand up to family life. They resist dents, they don't ring like a gong when you whack them with a puck, and they go up and down, super quiet, as many times as your kids change their minds. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll treat you like family.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Oh, there it goes again. I think old Rusty's had her last ride.
Aw, I think you're right. It's time to let her go. But what if she could still do some good?
What do you mean?
Well, we can donate it to the Tommy Novus Center.
Really?
They take old cars, running or not, and use the proceeds to help people with disabilities find jobs.
So instead of Rusty just sitting in the driveway, she could help someone who needs a job?
Exactly. And donating is easy. They pick it up for free.
That's a great idea.
Donate your vehicle to Tommy Novus Center and help people with disabilities gain meaningful employment. Visit TommyNovusCenter.org to donate.
Exciting news for homeowners out there. This is Deborah Morton, host of Inside Georgia Real Estate, here on WSB every Saturday at 1 p.m. My team and I are now proud partners with the iconic real estate brand, The Agency. As we launch the Atlanta market, we now have multiple offices covering Metro Atlanta. What this means for you as a home buyer or seller is that you will now have access to the agency's global resources. In this changing market, it is essential to hire the most experienced agency to represent you. And if you're a seller, you'll get the agency's proprietary marketing, which brings you more buyers, more offers, and ultimately sell your home for more money. My team and I are here for you as your real estate experts. In the meantime, we have all your answers about real estate every Saturday at 1 p.m. right here on WSB. And you can always reach out to me at InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. That's InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, now partners with the Agency Atlanta.
The White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there.
Put it out there, says Speaker Mike Johnson. That was him appearing yesterday on the Benny Johnson Show, talking about the Epstein files. Let's go back to the White House correspondent Kevin Liptak.
Clearly, this is not dying down in the way that the president had hoped. We heard him yesterday saying this was uninteresting, but what we're hearing from today is far harsher. The president accusing, on the one hand, Democrats of manufacturing this, saying that it's a Jeffrey Epstein hoax, but then going very harshly after those very Republicans who are his supporters and are calling for more transparency, saying that his past supporters have bought into what he calls BS. He uses the actual word. He calls it hook, line, and sinker. The president going on to say, let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work, concluding, I don't want their support anymore. So the president, I think his harshest words yet about the very base of supporters who have been calling for more information on this. The president really not mincing any words, saying that they're not spending enough time focusing on the successes of his administration. Instead, in his view, they're being distracted by all of this swirl of controversy around Jeffrey Epstein. But we should say that the conspiracies and the controversy have not actually been started by Democrats. They were started by some of President Trump's own advisors, people like Kash Patel, people like Dan Bongino, who in their previous life, before they entered the administration, fueled a lot of these conspiracies and have led to many of Trump's supporters thinking that there could be more information to be had. And so President Trump, clearly frustrated that this is not dying away, you are starting to hear calls on Capitol Hill for potential hearings into this matter. You've heard Democrats say that they want Justice Department officials to come and testify. You also have heard Republicans, including Tim Burchett, who you just saw in that clip, say that they want to hear from Ghislaine Maxwell, the one-time associate of Jeffrey Epstein. They want to hear her testify in public. Now, she's in a federal correctional facility for 20 years in Tallahassee, so it's not exactly clear how that would happen, but it's very evident that despite all of the president's calls for his advisors to drop this, they still remain very intent on learning more about this matter.
Kevin Liptak moments ago at the White House. I mean, the only reason this is a thing is because we had Kash Patel and Bongino and, you know, the Trump orbit, you know, basically promising this as a campaign promise, saying, hey, elect our guy and we will expose this pedophile network and the, you know, the elite that have flew to Epstein Island and committed I mean, that was part of the campaign. And I think there has to be, I agree with Speaker Johnson, just let it out and let the public decide. Crazy story. That's one of many things we're going to ask political analyst Stephen Lawson. He is joining us live after news, weather, and traffic. And don't forget, 11:37. Deborah's got more tickets to give away to see Sir Paul McCartney this November at State Farm Arena. Going to give those away 11:37 right here on the Mark Arum Show.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
The local folks at Breda Pest Management know my house inside and out, and they've customized a unique plan that stops bugs and critters. Hey friends, it's Mark Arum. With Breda, it's always a familiar local person servicing my home and answering my calls. Never an irritating automated call center. Breda cares more. They're our neighbors, and they'll work harder for you. Doing it better is what the Breda family does. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 10:30. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by my Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. WSB's top story, bracing for impact. Georgia may be about to feel the effects of federal spending cuts. A new director from the governor's office is urging state agencies to prepare.
The memo from the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget says that current revenue projections are sufficient to meet spending requirements, but that agencies need to develop plans if conditions were to change. Agencies are also instructed to report if they lost federal grant funding, and the memo makes clear agencies shouldn't expect the state will fill in the gap. Some Democratic lawmakers have called for a special session to address funding challenges, but the Governor's Office says there are no plans for a special session. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The Marietta School Board votes unanimously to install vape detection services inside all of the district's middle and high school bathrooms. Mike Santoro, the district's chief operations officer, tells WSB.
Our hope is that not only is it effective in identifying vaping when it's taking place, but also serving as a deterrent.
These deterrents look like home smoke alarms, but detect the chemicals found in vapes instead of smoke. If they are triggered, a silent alarm then alerts administration, and a student will face disciplinary action. The cost is being covered by a grant from the Georgia Department of Education. Department of Education officials, meantime, have begun the process of dismantling the agency days after the Supreme Court cleared the way for mass layoffs.
Obviously, there are supporters of this department and its mission among Democrats, some Republicans as well, concerned about dismantling all this because it just suggests then that you're losing federal control or oversight over certain aspects of education. She's correct. It doesn't hire teachers. It doesn't establish curricula. It doesn't meddle necessarily with minute details of what goes on in classrooms or in college campuses. But it does provide general oversight, it does set some standards, and it does give out a lot of money.
Correspondent Ed O'Keefe says Education Secretary Linda McMahon is defending the move. Southeastern states are bracing for rain and on edge for flood watches. There are storm warnings for much of the Gulf stretching as far west as Louisiana. The National Hurricane Center gives it a 40% chance of development, and all of southeast Louisiana is under a multi-day flood watch. President Trump is calling the Jeffrey Epstein case a hoax and his supporters weaklings who bought into it hook, line, and sinker. He made the post on Truth Social. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, though, are among those calling for the release of the files, including Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I fully support the transparency on this issue, and it's okay to continue to push for it. It's great.
There's been backlash since the report, a release of the Justice Department memo, which contends the sex offender Epstein did not have a client list and confirmed that he died by suicide. Russia has launched yet another assault on Ukraine with drones and missiles, with a northeastern city reporting at least 17 strikes in 20 minutes. Correspondent Keir Simmons says it comes after Trump said he's giving Russia 50 days to make a deal for peace in Ukraine, or it's going to face more tariffs.
There are, according to the Russians, feelings of uncertainty about what exactly the White House is asking for. That's from Russian ministers suggesting that this 50-day deadline isn't clear, that it's not clear exactly what is expected there.
Meanwhile, President Trump says Ukrainian President Zelensky should not target Moscow. This after reports that said he spoke with the president and asked if Ukraine could strike the Russian capital. Now the White House says Trump was just asking a question, not encouraging further killing. It's 10:33, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Chinwe Maponya-Cook is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Let's take a ride through the south side. Right now, I-85 north and southbound is working well through Fairburn and Union City. You got no issues making your way up to the perimeter. I-675 over in Forest Park, also looking pretty good north and southbound. That's until you merge with I-75. That's where you've got a slow spot if you're heading southbound, and those delays will break up around Jodico Road, exit 222. I'm Chinwe Maponya-Cook, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower possible, but many of us will enjoy a dry afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 92. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, high 93.
Right now, it's 80 degrees in Douglasville. It's 79 in Morrow, and it's 83 in Midtown Atlanta at 10:35. More news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Some of the bravest children I've ever met are going to become radio stars later this month.
The 25th annual WSB Radio Carathon is right around the corner.
Won't you please help?
Join us once again for 2 days of magic, Thursday and Friday, July 24th and 25th.
You can make miracles happen.
Donate today at WSBRadio.com/Carathon.
Bye, Kids Hospital. We love you.
All-Star Game, a roaring success last night at Truist Park, but why was it delayed getting played here in Atlanta? We'll go in-depth with political analyst Stephen Lawson next on The Mark Arum Show.
Hey, y'all, Belinda Skelton for Four Seasons Home Care, and I'm not going to cry in this commercial, I hope. As many of you know, I lost both my parents recently, but I am so thankful they were able to finish their lives at home where they wanted to be. It's all because of the incredible caregivers who came to see them every day. I am so grateful to Four Seasons Home Care. This is a real family-owned company that vets and hires every single one of their caregiving specialists. They don't have contractors. They're not some national corporation. They are simply the best here in Georgia. And a lot of you have asked me about my journey and if home care is right for your aging parents. I'll tell you what I tell them. Call Four Seasons Home Care and just start the conversation. It's a 100% free call that can change everything. Google Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta. That's Four Seasons Home Care Atlanta.
It's what welcomes people to your home, and first impressions are everything. Your front door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of all Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. We're the experts for every opening in your home. Not only your garage door, but your windows and your front door too. Replace your dated single front door with a gorgeous double door. No matter the size of your entrance, we can customize and install the double doors of your dreams. Make your front door grand. Get started at all4seasonsgarages.com.
It's July, and that means pool days, summer celebrations, and of course, heat. Georgia heat is brutal. Don't let your home be a sauna. Coolray has the perfect solution to keep you cool this summer. Coolray is offering you $2,250 in rebates and free attic insulation when you purchase your new complete carrier system. You know, proper insulation is like a sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Call or go online to Coolray.com to book your appointment today. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
10:37 on this increasingly steamy Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. 1 hour from now, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Sir Paul McCartney at State Farm Arena in November. Another reminder, the WSB Carathon, the 25th annual WSB Carathon, kicks off next Thursday and Friday as we raise money for the Aflac Cancer Blood Disorder Center at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. I've got a whole week, Deborah, to prep to make sure I don't flub that up. But the good news is the early incentives are up at WSBRadio.com/Carathon. If you want to beat the rush and grab tickets to the Mark Arum Show listener lunch, my fantastic 999 dinner, or the exclusive tour of Costco with me and Clark Howard, you can go to WSBRadio.com/Carathon and donate now and scoop up those incentives before they are all gone, because they go fast once we start the Carathon. All right, joining us live, as he does every Wednesday at this time, political analyst Stephen Lawson. Not in studio. I'm assuming you went to the All-Star game last night and you're just tired. Is that right?
No, I wish I had that excuse. I'm actually in Washington, D.C. today, so I'm sorry I cannot be with you in person, my friend.
All good. So you didn't get to go to the All-Star game?
I didn't. I watched from afar, and afar being my couch.
I lasted one inning. I wanted to see Ohtani and Acuna hit, and I did, and then I went to bed. So, but apparently it was a roaring success. Great tribute to Hank Aaron. I'm going to play a little bit of that later on in the show. But it was a delayed All-Star game, right? This All-Star game was supposed to happen at Truist Park a couple years ago. Go back to that time period, and why did we lose the All-Star game the first go-around?
Yeah, look, by all accounts, it was a tremendous success last night. So much energy, so much buzz. Obviously, the tremendous economic impact that has for those local businesses in Cobb County, for the vendors, obviously for our hotels and restaurants was tremendous. But yeah, the game was supposed to happen in 2021, as your listeners may recall, and the game was pulled by Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred in reaction to Senate Bill 202, which the General Assembly passed and which the governor signed, which really secured our elections in the state. It actually increased, voter access. But the massive reaction from the Democrats and so many in the mainstream media, negative reaction led for the Major League Baseball to pull the game. And it was really disappointing because as history has gone on, we actually saw that their reaction was unfounded and that voter participation is way up. So definitely a swing and a miss originally for Major League Baseball. I'm glad they made it right. But certainly it's all crickets from them right now as to why they decided to change course.
I'm going to mix sports metaphors here, talking about baseball, but I'm going to throw a football in, and I'm going to Monday morning quarterback this thing, Stephen. As we have had 5 years pass since that happened, I think it was a knee-jerk reaction by Major League Baseball because that bill you mentioned, which tightened up voting here, was in reaction to the claims that the 2020 election was stolen, right? That was the impetus to get these election law changes and make sure that everything was on the up and up. And I think Major League Baseball had a knee-jerk reaction saying, oh, they're only doing this because they think the election in 2020 was stolen, not really, going in depth on what the changes were at the Georgia polling places and the Georgia voting procedures, because we still have those same rules in place right now in 2025. So if they were, no good in 2021, why are they good in 2025?
You hit the nail on the head, Mark. And I really, you said something that I think is the crux of it. They didn't look at what the bill actually did. What the bill actually did was secure and limit, but not eliminate, limit the number of ballot drop boxes that we have all across the state. It required photo identification or some type of identification when you request an absentee ballot. But it still kept intact those 17 days, Mark, of early voting that every eligible Georgia voter gets. And so, a lot of those, the ballot drop boxes and this mass influx of absentee ballots was really in reaction to the pandemic. And a lot of those regulations certainly needed to be tightened coming out of COVID, right? A lot of those voter habits were changing. We've seen that happen. But look what's happened as a result of that. In 2022, 99% voter satisfaction in our elections. And then this past election cycle in 2024, we saw historic voter turnout. 5.3 million people turned out and voted in Georgia elections, 68% total of voter turnout, which is higher than the national average. So we saw record turnout. So again, to your point, this was it was a knee-jerk reaction. It was a total missed opportunity. And unfortunately, what I think it's telling, it's really instructive that corporations and companies really need to beware wading into political issues, especially when it comes to sports. By and large, people want their sports to be their sports, not mix politics with sports.
Yeah, and to be fair, I used to be a traditionalist. I used to, behind this microphone, be like, I like the tradition of voting on election day. I am never going to vote early. No, I vote early all the time now. It is so, I love early vote. I've never done absentee, but I love early voting so much. It's so easy. The poll workers make it easy. I love it. Now, I don't want to nitpick, but I do want to throw a barb at the Secretary of State's office. I think it was a bridge too far, saying it's illegal to provide water to fans waiting to get into Truist Park for the All-Star game. I think that was a bridge too far by the secretary. I mean, come on, it was hot out. You're waiting to get into the Battery in Truist Park.
Give them a fan. Give them some water. They need it.
Exactly. Political analyst Stephen Lawson joining us live in D.C. here on the Mark Arum Show. While you're in D.C., I mean, the Epstein story not going away. We just heard audio from Marjorie Taylor Greene. She wants full transparency. We heard Speaker Johnson say, just, basically let the cards fall where they may. President Trump tripling down now, calling people his supporters that want these files released, that he doesn't need them or want them anymore. I'm not a political strategist, but I think what President Trump's doing by doubling and tripling down is just drawing more attention to this story.
Totally agree, and it's a classic case. And look, when you have such a monumental decision or a case, and you don't meet the moment with full transparency, or there are questions that are unanswered, to your point, Mark, it just begets more questions. Unfortunately, I think that's the situation that the president is in right now, is that he's really caught between a rock and a hard place. On the one hand, you have the Department of Justice, you have Attorney General Bondi, who has sort of misstepped and mishandled this a little bit. I think that's fair to say, based on some of her previous comments about there being files in existence. And then you've got, obviously, the CIA, you've got Dan Bongino, you've got Kash Patel and the FBI sort of on the other end of this spectrum. And then you've got a large portion of the president's base who is demanding answers. And I think for the general public, Mark, it is also ripping the Band-Aid off, because now they're saying, well, what's this new revelation? What are these new stories? And it's really resuscitating all of these questions about Jeffrey Epstein in the first place, right? How did this person rise to this much fame, accumulate all of this money? And there's just so many questions. And so I think for the president, I think he's going to have to meet the moment with some more transparency. He's going to have to provide some more answers, certainly his Department of Justice. I think that he will do that. But to your point, Mark, it's certainly turning into a day 3, 4, 5 news cycle, and that's not what he wanted.
Not at all. This was the president yesterday at Joint Base Andrews talking about the story.
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
I think there wouldn't be a fascination if his sphere of influence in the election kept bringing it up, saying, elect my guy, and we'll, expose this pedophilia ring of all these elites. That was one of the main, weaves and bobs during the campaign was you elect President Trump and we'll get to the bottom of the Epstein situation. So do you think that we will eventually see some sort of transparency when it comes to the Attorney General or Congress requesting more info?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. Obviously, the conversation here in D.C. right now is, all eyes are on Speaker Johnson and the House of Representatives. I think there is you mentioned the speaker's comments, which I think turned a lot of heads in Washington, D.C. about the need for more transparency. And certainly members of Congress are now posturing to ask for that. So I do think at the very least, Mark, they're probably forcing the president's hand a little bit to be more forthcoming, to have the Department of Justice provide more documents and more of a timeline, but because the more there is a lack of transparency, the more questions that arise, and I think the longer this story goes on. So if I'm the White House and I'm the president, I'm looking to curb that as quickly as possible.
Political analyst Stephen Lawson online at Dentons.com. Stephen, enjoy your time in the nation's capital. Have some good meals for me, my friend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, my friend. Talk
there
soon.
you go. There you go. Stephen Lawson, political analyst, joins us every Wednesday on the Mark Arum Show. Coming up next, experts warning that we could see a massive drop in our credit scores, like everyone's credit scores. We'll give you the details after this. A check of the Wednesday mid-morning ride live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Chinwe Maponia-Cook.
Well, if you're trying to get through Marietta, you should have an easy go of it. I-75 southbound, just a tap of the brakes from South Marietta Loop all the way to I-285, but no need for an alternate there. Coming down out of Alpharetta, Georgia 400 north and southbound, looking smooth at this time all the way to Dunwoody and Sandy Springs. And over in the northeast corner, I-85 southbound, we are still a little sluggish from that morning volume. I-85 southbound going to catch you tapping the brakes from 316 all the way down to I-285. I'm Chinwe Maponia-Cook, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Chris Chandler. When you join us Thursday, starting at 5 a.m. for Atlanta's morning news, breaking stories from overnight, triple team traffic to help you get to work on time, and you'll get our exclusive 5-day forecast looking into the weekend, too. Scott Slade's Georgia this week, the Volunteers making a difference for Georgia seniors. And Clark Howard's new AI, Frustration, all on Atlanta's morning news starting at 5 o'clock Thursday on 95.5 WSB.
Breda knows how critical it is to protect the inside of your home, not just the outside, against bugs and critters. Termites, the most destructive pest of all. They literally eat your house. Hey, it's Mark Aram here for Breda Pest Management. I bet your termite company just walks around outside, checks bait stations, and says, hey, you're termite free. But are you? How can they claim that when they haven't even inspected inside? Only Breda protects your home from termites with a complete liquid barrier system, not just those bait stations. And only Breda's early detection process will thoroughly inspect your entire home with advanced infrared cameras. Wow. Breda is so confident they guarantee your protection and will lock in your termite rate for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. Get started at BREDApest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain trying to infiltrate your home. If your old roof is leaking, think of Findlay First for a remarkable roof replacement. Schedule a free roof analysis. FindlayRoofing.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2798. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You know kids will ruin your life, right? Especially if you're a garage door. I mean, babies are adorable, don't get me wrong. But after that adorable phase where they barf and poop on everything, they turn into a cheap garage door's worst nightmare. Whacking tennis balls against the door all day, up and down every time they ride a bike. You dreamy young'uns might have the energy to start a family, but that rusty avocado green aluminum garage door that came with your house is too old for this jazz. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Modern, insulated garage doors are built to stand up to family life. They resist dents, they don't ring like a gong when you whack them with a puck, and they go up and down, super quiet, as many times as your kids change their minds. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll treat you like family.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
We're dedicated to a higher purpose. We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way. Right.
Corey Feldman in The Lost Boys. Put that on the list, Deborah, of movies that the Gen Z folks have to see. Corey Feldman turns 54 years old today. I can't believe he lived longer than Corey Haim.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you had asked me when Lost Boys came out, who would live longer, it'd be Corey Haim or Corey Feldman. I would have been on Haim, but rest in peace to Corey Haim. All right, I'm very proud, Deborah, of my credit score. I might be broke, but my credit score is good. A warning that all of our credit scores might soon take a hit. What's going on here?
Okay, so during the Biden administration, all medical debt was taken off your credit score. So if you had any of that would affected it before, it was removed from that. But a federal judge is reversing that protection. So it could possibly affect your score. Like, Americans have over $220 billion in medical debt, but it is up to the hospital to report it.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, from 1,000 feet, debt is debt, right? You got school loans, you got credit card debt, it's debt. It's money you owe. But medical debt, I mean, knock on wood, hopefully you don't have it. I don't have any right now, but I know folks that, you go through cancer treatments or you have a bad car crash and these bills. I don't know. What do you think, Deborah? Should medical debt be included on our credit score or not?
Yeah, I feel like it's a completely different type of debt. You can't help it. I mean, insurance only covers so much. It's not fair.
Yeah, but it's like debt is debt. But you're right. Credit card debt, that's on you, Cheech. You shouldn't have been buying those Frappuccinos, Vinny, at Starbucks, or those bacon, egg, and cheese on a cinnamon raisin bagel.
Love the fraps.
And student loans, hey, you signed up, you got it. But I think I'm with you, Deborah. You're always the voice. I disagree that medical debt should be, or at least make it a tiny portion, especially if you are paying down your medical debt. Like if you're not missing payments, that should actually help your credit score. Interesting.
I mean, you don't ask to get sick or something.
No,
like that
exactly right. You don't ask to get hit by a bus or whatever. All right. So a warning, if you do have medical debt, it hadn't been impacting your credit score until now. But a federal judge says, that's fair game now for the credit bureaus. Interesting. Really, that's a Solomon, King Solomon. Was that the guy who cut the baby in half? Is that King Solomon? No, one of the wise kingdoms. All right, I got to get some more caffeine to me. News, weather, and traffic in 2 minutes. When we come back, going back to D.C. and updating our top local stories. Social media is active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum at WSB Radio.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, Call us.
The Portfolio X-ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour is brought to you by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. WSB's top local story is all new this hour, updating the case of a 17-year-old girl accused of murder in Carroll County. A heartbroken grandfather says Sarah Patrick is not a killer, and he doesn't believe she shot her mother and stepdad to death.
It's just very hard to know what they're talking about when they don't want to release any information.
Dennis Nolan tells WSB the teen turning herself in is not because she's guilty.
That's not an admission of guilt. They put a warrant out for her arrest, and she did what was right.
He says he's hopeful she gets a good defense. Stay with us. We'll have more on this at noon. It's 86 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards is looking for a mix of sun and clouds today. It's going to be humid once again with highs in the 90s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. The Marietta City School Board votes to put vape detection devices in all of the district's middle and high school restrooms.
With funding from a Georgia Department of Education grant, the school district will install vape detection devices inside the restrooms. Mike Santoro, the district's chief operations officer, says
the product itself looks like a smoke detector in your house, but instead of detecting smoke, it detects the chemicals that are frequently found in vape products.
Then a silent alert is sent to administration. District officials hope the new technology will also serve as a deterrent for students thinking about vaping. In Cobb County, Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
The search continues for the man who robbed a PNC bank along Monroe Drive near Ansley Park before getting away on a scooter. Residents in the area tell Channel 2 Action News that kind of crime is rare for the neighborhood.
The scooter is probably the headline takeaway.
It's just a really bizarre crime.
Police do not believe the man was armed, but made verbal threats to get the money. While they go over evidence, investigators ask anybody with information to give them a call. A weather system forming in the Gulf of Mexico could strengthen into Tropical Storm Dexter as soon as today. The system's been dumping rain on parts of Louisiana, but is moving west and could organize into a more defined system as it reaches the warm waters of the Gulf. Several states across the southeast are on the lookout for rain that sticks around so much that it leads to flash flooding. Manjaro or Mexico? Business is booming for weight loss tourism.
More Americans are traveling abroad for cheap bariatric and weight reduction surgery, and the industry is largely unregulated, which increases the risks for complications and even death.
Correspondent Michael George says doctors in a study and BMJ Global Health are calling for more oversight and regulation. The card game Uno is about to make its presence felt in Atlanta.
The card game from Mattel is taking its brand new Uno Social Club tour on the road to select cities around the country, and one of those places they'll be stopping is right here in Atlanta. The announcement comes as company officials squelched a rumor circulating that the popular card game would be making its debut on a casino floor in Las Vegas. The post on social media says while it's not a reverse card, the Vegas tables weren't ready for them yet, so while things get sorted out, next month there are going to be tournaments going on, not just here in Atlanta, but also in New York, LA, and Chicago. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
It's 11:03. The Mark Aram Show continues in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather starts right now with Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good morning, Veronica. Watching brake lights on the south side getting around the airport, 285 westbound. The inner loop slows on and off the brakes, leaving I-75 through the airport tunnels over to I-85. We're going to check on that. Also looking at a new slow zone, 285 northbound. The inner loop passing South Cobb Drive, South Atlanta Road, exit 16, so a little slow there heading up through Smyrna Vinings, and crash clearing from the right shoulder downtown, 75-85 northbound up around Peachtree Pine Street, exit number 249B. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower or storm can't be ruled out, but mainly dry for this afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds, high 92. Partly cloudy on Friday, high 93.
Right now, it's 85 degrees in Midtown Atlanta, 80 degrees in Conyers, and 85 in Cartersville at 11:04. More news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
I'll run this town to be near you.
11:05 on this fast-moving Newsday Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Aram and crew with you till noon. Excuse me. That was a hunger burp. There's nothing in my belly to anyway, you don't need to know about that. Coming up in 30 minutes, Deborah's got tickets to give away to see the legend that is Sir Paul McCartney at State Farm Arena in November. Giving away a pair of tickets in 30 minutes. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to go back to D.C. Linda Kenyon from CBS News going to join us live at the White House. Been following a couple of big local stories. In case you're just joining us, the City of Marietta Schools is going to be installing vape detectors at middle and high schools. And when I heard the story on Atlanta's Morning News this morning, I was like, why are you spending my tax dollars on vape detectors? I want metal detectors. But apparently it's not tax dollars that are being spent on this. It's being paid by Juul, not the singer, but the e-cigarette manufacturer. Apparently there's some sort of settlement. So Marietta City Schools will have vape detectors at middle and high schools, which if you're not familiar, it's a big problem with the nation's youth. It really is. And it goes all the way into elementary school. There are elementary kids that, K through, I don't know about kindergartners, but like fifth graders, they're vaping in schools. It's crazy. So just a warning, if you're a parent or a grandparent and you got a preteen, keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't have any funky looking pens that are vape materials, because it is an epidemic. And goodness gracious, just the young 12-year-old lungs getting polluted by whatever's in those vape pens is something to watch out for. So a warning locally to really pay close attention. I remember, my parents, Deborah, when I was, a teen, they would mark the liquor bottles in the cabinet to make,
absolutely.
and I had friends that smoked, and they'd come over and they'd be like making sure that I wasn't like marijuana. They wanted, they were always on. But add another thing that parents have to worry about in 2025 is your underage kids getting their vaping in, which is, I think there's nicotine vape pens, right? And then there's
all kinds of vape pens.
All kinds of marijuana vape pens. Those were huge in Vegas, by the way. Unbelievable. Like people just puffing on weed everywhere on these vape pens. It was insane. Anyway, that was a big local story. And earlier in the show, we talked to Emma Hart from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. She's got a great piece up on AJC.com. The world's busiest airport, I've been saying it proudly since 1998, might lose its title to Chicago's O'Hare and the Dubai Airport, which is increasing. But a really in-depth, great piece by Emma Hart. I suggest you check it out at AJC.com. I do want to update this story, Deborah. I mentioned, I went to Vegas. That was the last of my summer vacation. What even a vacation? It was a 3-day weekend. And it might not even impact folks here because schools are coming back in just a couple of weeks. But summer vacations, apparently Americans are scaling back how much they're spending on summer vacations this year. Is this just overall economic concern? They're trying to pinch pennies. Why are folks scaling back summer vacays?
Yeah, it looks like Americans are taking shorter trips. They're driving instead of flying, and they're staying a lot closer to home. And a lot of this just has to do with the economy. So you're going to see less families traveling at the airport. You might still have people, but not like big groups of families. And they're taking less time off of work because some people, like we mentioned yesterday, are worried about using up their vacation time. It makes them seem like, I'm not interested in being here. And then, of course, just all the inflation and economic uncertainty. So people are like, well, maybe we don't need to take the big trip to Disney, which is not a cheap vacation. Maybe we'll do something a little bit closer to home like Dollywood, which is pretty awesome.
Oh, all right. So, instead of going to, an international, like Hawaii, you're like, let's go to Dollywood and save money there. Longoria just took a long vacation to Texas, though, so apparently he's doing fine.
I drove, though.
You did drive. You did
2 days.
You did save money on that.
Yep.
Internationally, I went to Italy on my honeymoon, but I did not go to this famous Italian town. Apparently, This town in Italy is not happy with tourists, not just American tourists, but all tourists.
Frustrated at how visitors behave, the charming seaside town of Portofino has brought in a new dress code and more. As of yesterday, tourists are no longer allowed to walk barefoot, topless or in swimwear through the Italian Riviera town. Drinking in the street is also banned, as is sitting or lying on public paths, walls and parks. Portofino has a year-round population of just 400, but sees an influx of 100,000 visitors each year. Elaine Cobb, CBS News.
Yeah, Deborah, you've ever been to Portofino?
Yeah, I went to Portofino when I was there.
Was it overrun by tourists?
We were there in the fall, so it probably wasn't like peak touristy season like the summer. But I mean, there were a lot of tourists there because we were with a tourist group. But I mean, I wasn't wearing anything inappropriate.
Yeah.
None of our people in our group were.
I'm for all of those, tourism rules, except for the topless one. If people want to walk around topless, let them walk around topless. I mean,
people that are walking around topless, you might not care so much.
Yeah, I think it's important when people travel to different countries to respect what the requirements are culturally in other countries, right? You go to Italy, there's certain is it Singapore? There's some. It's illegal to spit on the street. Like you shouldn't be spitting on the street anyway. But just if you're going to travel internationally, make sure you're aware of the local customs, and that goes to the same for folks visiting the United States. All right, I'm monitoring a couple of big stories. Israel struck Damascus in Syria. We're monitoring that. A lot of big stories on Capitol Hill today. Joining us live from D.C., CBS News' Linda Kenny. Linda, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. All is well. It's another busy day in Washington.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the Epstein files or what's going on Capitol Hill?
Well, on Capitol Hill, they're working through a rescissions package. In other words, they're going to codify some of those cuts that were taken through the Department of Government Efficiency, eliminating almost all of the Department of Education, for example, cutting other funding, some of the rescissions package, as they call it, clawing back of money that has to be codified into law, is now going back in, for example, cuts to the George W. Bush era PEPFAR, the AIDS program that has saved millions of lives around the globe. That's what's happening on Capitol Hill. They are attempting to get the rescissions package passed by Friday, since the House has already passed it.
So, Linda, just sorry to interrupt, but last night, Vice President J.D. Vance was forced to cast the tie-breaking vote after 3 Republicans voted no, siding with the Democrats. Was that just a speed bump in this rescission package?
Yeah, that was a procedural vote, so the final vote is yet to come. And the Republicans, who have the majority in both the House and the Senate, they have a slim majority in both the House and Senate, so they need every Republican vote to pass this bill, much like they did with passing the President's Big Beautiful Bill Act. They're using a sort of inside baseball technique to do this, so all they need is a simple majority. They don't need any Democratic votes, and that's why they really do need to get the support of every single Republican. They can't really afford to lose too many.
What issues do the Republicans holdout have with this?
Well, one of the concerns was the rescissions, in other words, the clawing back of money for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That is the corporation that funds, for example, National Public Radio. Now, there is Senator Mike Rounds from South Dakota, the Republican senator, and he said, I can't go along with this. And the reason, he said, was because he has a lot of Native American voters in his state who rely on public broadcasting. That is their only connection for them to what's happening around the world, and he does not want to see that money go away. So he was able to rescind some of the rescissions. In other words, put some of that money back, and not just for his state, but for some, I believe, 28 radio stations in 14 different states. There were some concerns about cuts to AIDS funding, the PEPFAR program that I referred to. Senator Susan Collins, Senator Lisa Murkowski, some other Republicans not happy about that. So this is going to be finessed. They want to pass it by Friday. It's already passed in the House, but then there's some concerns about whether they can meet their Friday deadline. Because if they change it in the Senate, it then has to go back to the House.
Yeah, Linda, I've been in radio for 30 years. I had no idea about the public broadcasting station for Native Americans on reservation. That was new information for me. So kudos to that politician for sticking up for the funds that would, as you mentioned, could cut off those Native American populations. We heard from Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday on a podcast talking about the Epstein story that will not go away.
Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, that were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
Yeah, so his appearance on that podcast kind of raised eyebrows, President Trump, and tripling down, just forget about this story. Is it going away anytime soon?
I don't think it's going away anytime soon. I think the more the president protests about it, the more mileage it is getting. The concerns right now is for the president is that he feels that some of his staunch supporters are against him on releasing the Epstein files, and he doesn't like that. In fact, he's been posting on Truth Social with some very biting criticism. He said, and I'm going to give you some quotes here, he says, "Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore." That's pretty strong to tell Republican supporters he doesn't want their support. Another quote, he says, "I don't understand it, why they would be so interested. He's been dead," referring to Epstein, "for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest and what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information has been given." But that's the question. Has the credible information been given? As a refresher, we do know that Jeffrey Epstein, who died in prison, whether it was suicide or others, the statement is that it was by suicide. He is a child sex offender, a convicted sex offender, and he's also a financier, a billionaire. And President Trump was seen early on, before he was a politician, at various social events with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, does that mean that he had anything to do with Epstein other than the fact that he showed up at some parties? Maybe, maybe not. The president doesn't want any connection with Epstein. Pam Bondi, his attorney general, said that she had, as your cut there that you played refers, that she had the Epstein client list sitting on her desk, and then has recently said there was no client list. So this is a disconnect, and there's a lot of issues about whether various politicians were involved with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of Republicans who are standing against him right now on the release of the Epstein files, if you will, perhaps want to use it because they believe that there's some Democrats on the client list. So that's really what the push is here. And as the president said yesterday, I was on the press pool trip yesterday to Pittsburgh. He said in a gaggle, as they call it, after we got off of Air Force One, he said Jeffrey Epstein is the guy who just won't stay dead.
Yeah, I mean, and taking to Truth Social today, really hammering down. Fascinating times, Linda. Linda Kenyon, CBS News in Washington. Linda, as always, thanks so much for your time.
Always a pleasure. You have a great day.
You as well. The timeline is a little weird. I think people forget because this has gone through now 3 separate presidencies. Epstein was arrested and I'm using air quotes, killed himself in 2019. During the first Trump administration, and then whatever files they had in the FBI were sat on by the Biden administration, and now we come full circle with President Trump back in the White House and no releasing of the files after many, many promises. Interesting story. Obviously, we will continue to monitor that. The DOJ asked the Supreme Court to deny Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal. That just breaking now, coming in from the Department of Justice. So more layers to the story continue to develop. We'll come back, update our top local stories. Right now, though, at 11:19, he voted that Vinny should lose his job for that horrible bagel order live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, and Alex Williams.
Maybe not the job, just poor life choices right there. Some better news over on the west side perimeter, Mark. We had a stalled tractor trailer. He got up and moving, 285 northbound, the inner loop, right at South Atlanta Road, exit number 16. So those delays as you head up into Smyrna Vinings will start to improve. Also just had trouble clear out of the right lane over into Cobb County, I-20 eastbound, Wesley Chapel Road, exit number 68. Picking up a new slow zone, 75 south through Marietta, approaching Delk Road, exit 261. We'll scan the jam cam for that. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. There's still time to enjoy locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items. Join now and make the most of summer. Sign up for a membership at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride
Don't
home.
tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
What separates Advanced Hair from every other joint around? First off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. It's Mark Aram here. I've been to their facilities, checked it out. Amazing stuff going on at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. And the best part about this, guys, Advanced Hair's summer saving event going on right now will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 470-660-HAIR, 470-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results, your new hair guaranteed to grow. Online at advancedhair.com.
At Ameris Bank, we know that it's never just business when it's your business. I'm Brian Parks, head of commercial banking in Atlanta for Ameris Bank. Whether your business is looking to optimize cash flow, improve your payment technology, or grow more quickly, my team and I are here and ready to help with a superior level of service, smart banking technology, and local market expertise. I invite you to reach out to my team by visiting amerisbank.com/yourbusiness or a local branch near you. Ameris Bank, fiercely yours, member FDIC.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. You can skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are on sale for $2.99 with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and I'm so excited to invite you to our designer pop-up event July 19th and 20th. Come see extended lines of engagement rings, wedding bands, plus brand new wedding day and fashion jewelry from the top designers in the industry, our good friends at Tacori and Veragio. So don't just look for a ring, find the perfect ring at D. Geller & Son's designer pop-up event July 19th and 20th in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
How easy is it to save energy and money in 30 seconds? Let's count the ways. Power down unused devices. Swap out traditional bulbs for LEDs. Adjust your thermostat for the season. Change your air filter. Move furniture away from your vents. And turn off the lights when you leave a room. Georgia Power's more than just your power company. We're your saving sidekick. Get started at georgiapower.com/energy efficiency today. Ready, set, save.
Your friends at Steel Horse Law are motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They've mastered safely riding our Georgia roads, and they've mastered the unexpected twists and turns of Georgia law. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. With all the changes in Georgia law, you need the most experienced local motorcycle injury law firm to protect your rights. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get a free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
Is that the audio that Erickson uses to start his show?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Interesting. I never knew the origin of that. That was 56 years ago today, as heard on WSB Radio. Apollo 11 blasted off from Kennedy Space Center at 9:32 a.m., 4 days before two of the astronauts aboard became the first men to walk on the moon. Let me hear that again. Yeah, I think that's it. How about that? Good job. Longoria still believes that we didn't land on the moon.
Yep.
I understand the arguments, but the reason why I think, and we'll get back to important stuff in just a second, if we faked the moon landing, then that's the biggest secret that's been kept by thousands of people for 60 years. If it was all a hoax, someone would have, on their deathbed be like, "Oh, the moon landing was phony. I was there." That's why I tend to believe. I understand, the shadows and all the
all
stuff.
The shadows. And we haven't been back.
Yeah, but that's too big of a secret. People can't keep secrets.
Maybe that's why they killed Epstein.
Maybe that's why they killed Epstein. Yes, we'll have more on the. I'm trying to unwrap the riddle that is the Epstein file, and I think I've come up with something that maybe makes it make sense why they don't want to release the files. I'll explain when we come back. Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Sir Paul McCartney, and apparently a fantastic night last night at Truist Park. An amazing, amazing tribute to the home run king, Hank Aaron. I'll play a little bit of that for you next, in case you weren't at Truist. That's coming up next on The Mark Arum Show.
The summer heat will make that crack in your wall expand. You have foundation problems. Dave Baker here. AquaGuard Foundation Solutions will find and fix your issues with a customized plan. Get your free evaluation at aquaguard.net.
AquaGuard. When someone's AC is on the fritz, drains are clogged, or wall outlets are sparking, Castile Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical never asks, how soon do you need it fixed? You know why? Because no one in recorded history has ever said, oh, take your time, just whenever you can get to it. We just assume how fast can you get here will always be the answer. So Castile will be there same day, and we won't leave until you're 100% satisfied. See? Sometimes it's good to assume. It gets your AC fixed fast. Book today at CastileAir.com.
Hey friends, is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain just not getting any better? Are you stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now they're talking about surgery? Before you go down that road, hit pause for a second. Hey, it's Mark Arum. I want to tell you about something that helped a lot of people get their lives back without more meds and without going under the knife. It's QC Kinetics, leaders in regenerative medicine using treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. Game changer. Real results that let you move easier and live better. Listen, it doesn't cost anything for a second opinion. I want you to learn more about something that could be life-changing. A licensed medical provider will go over your x-rays or MRI and see if you're a good fit for these breakthrough treatments. Call QC Kinetics today. 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
Why are John Foy and Associates known for their responsiveness?
When you are injured on the job, it affects every aspect of your life. I understand that it's not only your ability to earn income which is affected, but also your ability to live your day-to-day life and be there for your family. It's therefore important to me to not only have a passion for the law, but to have a passion for the people and the families I fight for. This belief is a belief I hold dear and a belief I have built my firm on.
Injured? Call attorney John Foy and Associates today.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this half hour is brought to you by Rocco's European Garage. WSB's top local story: the grandfather of a Carroll County teenager charged with murdering her mother and stepfather says Sarah Patrick is innocent.
I think some people are getting the wrong impression that, that she turned herself in because she felt like she was guilty. That's not an admission of guilt. It was, they put a warrant out for her arrest, and she did what was right.
The Carroll County Sheriff's Office says Kristen Brock and James Brock were found shot to death at home on Tyus Carrollton Road in February. Sarah Brock was 16 at the time. Authorities say she's being charged as an adult. Some Republicans in Congress are joining with Democrats in demanding transparency regarding the so-called Epstein files, that dossier that is said to have details on convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who died in 2019.
This is something that's been talked about by many people serving in the administration, myself and many others on the right and the left, of there needing to be transparency of the rich and powerful elites that were in his circle.
That's Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She says she has told President Trump that there is big backlash in the MAGA community about not releasing the files. A $20 million AI-powered supercomputer meant to level the playing field in the world of scientific research is coming to Georgia Tech. It's funded by the National Science Foundation. Georgia Tech says it could lead to breakthroughs in the development of new medicine, our understanding of the human brain, and drive manufactured innovations. With most of the votes already reported in, Peter Hubbard wins the Democratic runoff in the Public Service Commission race. He defeated Keisha Waits with 58% of the vote. Watching movement from the U.S. Department of Education as it begins the process of dismantling the agency, days after the Supreme Court cleared the way for mass layoffs. Political correspondent Ed O'Keefe notes there are many questions yet to be answered about the DOE.
Does it mean completely shuttering the whole place? Does it mean then that perhaps oversight of Title IX or student loan programs would be moved to other departments? Or do you keep a much smaller agency that handles those things and just does so with a reduced footprint?
He says while state and local education officials are in charge of hiring and curriculum, it's those extra federal funds which remain up in the air for schools. Economic worries are keeping would-be home buyers on the sidelines. Correspondent Jim Ryan says mortgage applications fell dramatically last week.
Figures compiled by the Mortgage Bankers Association find applications for a mortgage to purchase a home falling 12% last week, while applications to refinance a home dropped 7%. This all comes as the rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage jumped from 6.77% to 6.82% in the past 2 weeks.
The threat of bad weather and more flooding continues to slow down recovery efforts in central Texas, where just over 100 people are still unaccounted for after this month's devastating flash floods. Reporter Jason Allen's been surveying the damage and operations in the city of Kerrville.
Just a couple blocks away is where all of those victims are brought after they are found. A funeral home is serving as the central location for that work. A parking lot in the back has turned into an expanded morgue.
The death toll has now topped 130 recent storms have also muddied the water, making search efforts even harder. It's 11:33. Live team coverage of traffic and weather starts right now. Alex Williams is live in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Watching some volume through Midtown and downtown right now. Veronica, 75-85 southbound, a little sluggish from the 17th Street Bridge as you head down toward Cortlandt Street. Northbound on and off the brakes from University Avenue up toward Peachtree Pine Street, where we had a crash working on the right shoulder. And on I-75 southbound in Marietta, whatever was slowing you up right around South Marietta Parkway is cleared. Now seeing some northbound delays as you make your way past Highway 5, exit 267. Just found the reason for that. Looks like might be some pothole repair in the left lane. I'm going to see what this jam cam has to show. But that, anyways, that is slowing you as you leave North Marietta Parkway toward Kennesaw. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid today, high 94. An isolated pop-up shower possible, but many of us will enjoy a dry afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 92. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, high 93.
Right now, it's 83 degrees in Brookhaven. It's 84 in Beaufort and 85 in Midtown Atlanta at 11:34. More news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
If you have the WSB radio app.
If you have the WSB
all
app.
the notifications you
If
need.
you have the
WSB app. All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
Breaking news in Cobb County.
All in one place.
We'll send out an alert on the WSB app.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it from your app store today.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
In case you missed it, an amazing tribute to Hank Aaron at yesterday's All-Star game in Atlanta. I'll update you on that. Deborah's got tickets to give away to see Paul McCartney, plus our top stories 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain pounding on your roof. Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Water is your home's #1 enemy, and your roof is your front line of defense to stop it from getting inside. Has your old roof finally lost the battle against all this recent heavy rain? If water has made its way into your home, think of Findlay first. They've replaced over 65,000 roofs locally, all with high-quality work, upfront pricing, and exceptional service. You'll always win with Findlay. You'll never have to worry about them cutting corners. With over 30 years of experience, Findlay goes the distance. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof experience. Are you seeing water inside or just not sure how well your roof is holding up after all this recent rain? Schedule a free roof analysis. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now there's new hope for men who suffer from ED and PE problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Bugs bugging you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
We got reports of debris being found on the beach by the state police, and we have since confirmed that some of that debris has come from the aircraft.
That was 26 years ago today. John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane went down with his wife and her sister. I remember exactly where I was, Deborah, 26 years ago today when JFK. I was getting dressed in my apartment. I was living in Post Brookhaven, and getting ready to. I was putting on probably the same WSB radio shirt I'm wearing today to go work on a remote broadcast for something. And the news broke that JFK Jr. died in a plane crash, or went missing in a plane crash, presumed dead. And I remember thinking, like, wow, that guy was eventually going to be president of the United States. Like, I have no doubt with that name, he would have been a president at some point. That was big 26 years ago today. All right, sorry to bring us down. Let's bring us back up, Deborah. What do we have to give away today, my friend?
How about a pair of tickets to see Sir Paul McCartney at State Farm Arena on November 3rd?
All right, Vin, let's do the 10th caller. 10th caller, Vinny. Nice and easy for you. 404-872-0750. 10th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see Sir Paul McCartney this November at State Farm Arena, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB. Going to update a couple of stories. I don't want to beat a dead horse, Deborah, but the Epstein story, it's like a puzzle to me. I'm trying to figure it out. And I said with Erickson on Monday, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that President Trump's not on the Epstein list. If he were, when Biden was president and Christopher Wray was I think they would have said, oh, by the way, here's the file list. Like, Trump's on it. And they didn't do that. So for all the people who are going, oh, Trump must be on there. I think if he was on there, we would have found out about it in the last administration. So the question is, if it's not Donald Trump that's on the list, who is he trying to protect by not releasing the list? And I'm not, this is just a hypothesis, but who is so important to President Trump that he would risk, political fallout and loss of his base? Like, who is worth protecting for the president? Now, if I were in the president's shoes and, I'm in the same situation and the Epstein list is there, who would I feel was worthy of protection? And the only thing I could think of, Deborah, is family members, right? Is there a possibility that there's a Trump family member on the Epstein list, and that's why he is like, no, we're not releasing this. Move on.
What family member would be on there?
I don't want to say name. Let's just, who in the Trump family might be on the list? I'll let you come up with your. But like, if I'm just trying to, like, who's worth protecting? If it was a big political donor, I don't think President Trump would protect that. If it was Vladimir Putin on the list, at this point, I don't think he'd protect him. If I were in his shoes and the list needs to be released, then what would prevent, like, if a family member is on the list, big, no, I don't know. It's just a working hypothesis. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Anyway, I'm sure Eric's going to talk about that noon to 3, the Eric Erickson Show here on 95.5 WSB. In case you didn't go to Truist Park or didn't watch the game on Fox yesterday, the All-Star game was here in Atlanta. Again, I had FOMO yesterday morning that I wasn't going, but by the first pitch, I was done. Absolutely with the game. I'm going to play a highlight of it in just a second, but in the meantime, joining us on the show from Bloomberg News, our buddy Miles Miller. Miles, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good to talk to you as always.
I appreciate you coming on. I just threw out a hypothesis on the Epstein file story. Here, I'll throw it by you, right? I think if President Trump was on that list, we would have found out about it last administration. I think Christopher Wray, the Biden administration, the DOJ, if President Trump was on that list, we would have heard about it. So I'm leaning toward that President Trump's not on this list. But why would he not want this list released? And the only thing I could think of logically is like he wants to protect someone that's on the list. And if I was in his shoes, the only person or persons I want to protect would be family members. Is that a possibility why he's so adamant about this list not being released?
I mean, I think we go back to what Pam Bondi said in her letter and then what she said subsequently, right? What she said in her letter was that there was no list. Now, does that mean that there's a document, right? She's got a document with some, there's definitely case files because there was a case here in the Southern District, which ultimately led to him being, put behind bars and all of that. Did she mistakenly say a list? Was she meaning to say, documents? Was she meaning to say, case files? Because her latest situation has been saying that there is no list, right? So you have to sort of hit at that first. But, you want to get into the crux of what is going on in MAGA world right now. There are people who feel betrayed that the Attorney General is saying that there is no list and that, what they've concluded is that he died by suicide. And that's especially a potent issue because it is what the current FBI director and it is with what the deputy director had spent their pre-FBI work talking about, right? Social media, radio, podcasts, and all of that. And so, they feel betrayed by that. And they feel like they've looked at some, modicum of evidence that has told them something different than what they feel the Attorney General has put in this letter. Now, I think only people who know what would be included in that case file would be the U.S. Attorney's Office and those who've been close to it and seen it. So you can't really make a judgment on who would be on any purported list if the list, as the Attorney General said, doesn't exist. It's really convoluted, right? One thing that happened that was really interesting, some new reporting that we had yesterday, was that the president called people, in his MAGA circle, specifically the influencers, and told them, listen, the story's over. It's died down. There is no list. Move on. But what he did say is that they should put out, or that he said it should be up to Attorney General Bondi to figure out what other kind of investigative information should be put out there. So, this is a big rift in this community. Spoke with folks, in New York, MAGA folks who say to me, listen, he promised something, he ran on this, and now we need, that information, we need that follow through, and they feel let down.
Yeah, I think the story's snowballing to the point, Miles, where we're going to have to see something from the Attorney General. If there's not a list, whatever evidence they have is going to have to be released. Miles Miller, Bloomberg News. Miles, thanks for jumping on with us, buddy.
Always.
There you go. Anyway, I know you're probably getting fatigued with the story. In my mind, I like to figure things out, and I can't figure this one out. All right, last night, Truist Park, the highlight by everyone that attended and watched was this tribute that the Braves and Major League Baseball did to Hank Aaron.
And it doesn't take a mind reader to read the collective mind that's here in this ballpark tonight. They came to see him pass the Bay.
Once again, a standing ovation for Henry Aaron. So the confrontation for the second time. Aaron walked in the second inning. He means the tying run at the plate now. So we'll see what Downing does. Down at the belt, delivers, and he's low. Ball one. And that just adds to the pressure.
He's sitting on 7-14. Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Milo Hamilton with the call on WSB Radio back in April of 1974. Apparently, the visually stunning in Truist Park, like next level graphic. I mean, if you go find it on YouTube, Fox News All-Star Game or Fox Sports All-Star Game, Hank Aaron tribute. But you heard, so that was Milo Hamilton on the call. And the beginning call was Vin Scully, legendary Dodgers broadcaster who was here. Braves were playing the Dodgers when Hammer and Hank broke the record. And I interviewed Scully years ago on the Braves pregame show, and I asked him about that famous call of Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's record.
Well, I certainly realize the importance of it, and basically my whole philosophy in broadcasting is to call a play as quickly and as accurately as possible and then get out of the way for the roar of the crowd. I've always been intoxicated by the sound of 50,000 people screaming. It's a wonderful, wonderful sound. And so when Henry hit the ball, I described it as best I could. And I described Bill Buckner, the Dodger left fielder, going back to the wire fence of the Atlanta bullpen. And I described Buckner climbing the fence and extending his arm. And then I said, it's gone into the bullpen, home run. And then I shut up. And I guess I let the crowd roar for maybe 2 minutes because nothing else went on but fireworks and the crowd screaming. And I just thought that was better than any words I could possibly spring together at the moment.
Vince Scully, rest in peace. This is Scully's call.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
I highly recommend you search that out on social media. Watch the video of the Hank Aaron tribute from the All-Star game last night. All right, congrats to Tom and Marietta. Won another pair of tickets to see Sir Paul McCartney at State Farm, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show. We'll come back and put a bow on it. First, though, got to check that Wednesday morning drive heading into the lunch hour. What can you tell us, Alex Williams?
Stacked up right now through Marietta on I-75 northbound, but some better news. They just wrapped up some pothole repair in 2 left lanes, 75 north, Highway 5, the Canton Road connector, exit 267, so the brake lights back towards South Marietta Parkway will start to improve. If you're traveling on I-75 southbound on the south side of town, you're just dealing with some volume in Stockbridge from Highway 138 down toward Hudson Bridge Road. And out in Villa Rica, heads up for left lane construction, 20 westbound passing Liberty Road, exit number 26, causing a little bit of a slow zone there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer.
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
Thank you.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
I am so excited.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. Within that hour,
you could win $1,000.
No way. Is this a joke?
Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays.
Tomorrow from 95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier, the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and for over a decade, I've trusted America's best choice for windows, doors, siding, and decks.
That's right, Dale. When the summer is hot, America's best choice will keep your home cool
with premium energy-efficient windows starting at just $299. No pressure, no gimmicks. Go to abcwin.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. America's best choice. Quality you can trust, prices you can afford.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I've always gotten tons of UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I was desperate for a way to be proactive. I'm Jenna Ryan, CEO and founder of Eucora. We've worked with doctors to develop effective urinary tract health products. Eucora is helping over 100,000 women stay healthy. Ready to join them? Get 30% off at eucora.com/radio. That's UQORA.com/radio.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm not a baby, I'm a man. I am an anchor man.
Happy 58th birthday, actor Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell? Ferrell. Wow. Deborah? Will Ferrell. Yeah, 58. Is he universally beloved? Do people out there don't like Will Ferrell?
Yeah, I think there's people out there that aren't into his comedy.
Okay. Anyway, I thought he's universally beloved. 58 years old today. That was, of course, Anchorman. I have many leather-bound books, my friends.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, today is National Hot Dog Day today. Going to the varsity after this? Maybe. So the cartoonist Tad Durgan is credited with popularizing the term hot dog after seeing a vendor selling hot dachshund sausages at a baseball game. He didn't know how to spell dachshund, so he termed the hot dog.
Who does know how to spell it?
That's how hot dog came about.
All right, so National Hot Dog Day. But if you don't fancy a hot dog for lunch, I am starving right now. Great deal at Pizza Hut right now, Deborah. $2 pizzas from Pizza Hut? What?
Pizza Hut?
Tuesday in July, Pizza Hut going to offer up their personal pan pizza, and it's just $2. Carry out only, but there's no other purchase necessary, and it's a limit of 4 per person. So you can get one for everyone on the show.
When is this? I missed it.
Every Tuesday in the month of July. So we missed it yesterday because you guys were eating bagels, but every Tuesday for the rest of the month.
Bagel Tuesday.
It's Bagel Tuesday now. This just breaking. A White House official says President Trump has indicated he will likely fire the Fed chief soon. As you know, I don't know if you listened to Eric's show yesterday, but Eric did a great explainer why firing the Fed chief might not be able to sway the interest rates, because it's not his decision alone. There's a board that votes on whether or not to raise or lower the interest rates. All right, so that's just popping, I'm sure. Eric, can we listen in for a second here, Longoria?
You know, he's not your top option to replace Jerome Powell, whenever that may be, whenever you decide what you want to do with him.
Scott's doing a very good job. I'm very happy with Scott.
Is Kevin Hassett on the top of your list?
Kevin's somebody we'd consider. Kevin is fantastic, too. We have a lot of good people for that job. It's not a tough job, to be honest. Assuming you're smart, it's not a tough job.
All right, there you go. Assuming you're smart, you could be the Fed chief. All right, so he might fire the Fed chief. Eric will have more on that in just a minute.
Are you guys ready for the Mark Aram Star of the Show?
Phenomenal guest today, Karen Travers, ABC at the White House, Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Capitol Hill, Emma Hurt from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Xavier Walton was live in Texas for us for News Nation, political analyst Steve Lawson. Got to make good for Longo yesterday. Vinny and Deborah, fantastic job today, as always. Tomorrow, $1,000 Thursdays return on the show. Comedian Chris O'Connor and travel expert Peter Greenberg. Don't forget, Carathon starts next Thursday. You can jump on board already and grab some of those amazing incentives for the Mark Arum crew. Just go to WSBRadio.com/Carathon. I'll be active on the socials throughout the broadcast day at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Wednesday, Atlanta.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
When's the last time you checked your credit report? For most, it's when they get a denial for a loan or they get a higher rate for their insurance or something like that. That's not when you check your credit file. You check it routinely. Go to annualcreditreport.com or go to Credit Karma and set up a free account where you can monitor 2 of your 3 major credit files and see your credit score whenever you want to for free.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handled everything, house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof, and their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 12 o'clock, I'm Veronica Waters. News this hour is brought to you by Jim Ellis Automotive. WSB's top local story. These allegations rocked a community. Now, the grandfather of a teen accused of shooting and killing her mother and stepfather in Carroll County says he believes the girl is innocent.
17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick recently turned herself in for the February deaths of Kristen and James Brock. But Dennis Nolan tells me he doesn't believe his granddaughter's even physically capable of carrying out such a crime.
Clear to these charges. I mean, if they don't have anything, they need to let her go, at least give her bond.
Nolan says he's had the chance to speak with Patrick by phone.
She was crying. She was upset. She said, "Why are they doing this to me? And please get me out of here."
The Carroll County Sheriff's Office says it's confident she's responsible. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It's 86 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta, and today's weather is like a carbon copy of the first part of the week. Humid, hot, partly cloudy, highs in the 90s. But how different will it be this weekend? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast just ahead. Volunteers are looking for homes for several cats left behind at a College Park apartment complex, which is about to be demolished.
A lot of people, it appears, had to leave cats that they had been caring for behind in the kind of chaos of exiting the property.
Sydney Nettlecoats, a volunteer with Tri-Cities Friends of Kitties, says they're trying to reunite the cats with their owners when possible, but she says about a dozen need a new home. If you're interested, you can go to the Tri-Cities Friends of Kitties website. Happening now, the family of Johnny Holloman, the church deacon who died when an Atlanta police officer tased him after a traffic stop, is meeting with District Attorney Fonnie Willis right now at the Fulton County Courthouse. They are hoping to hear that the DA's office is going to charge the former officer and plan to speak with us after the meeting. Stay with us for developments in this story. High-profile Trump supporters are breaking with President Trump over the release of the Epstein files, this dossier that is supposedly one of the the convicted sex offender, which has a client list. Now, Trump previously called for these files to be opened, but now he calls it a hoax and his supporters weaklings who bought into it hook, line, and sinker. But Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor